What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back. Season 2, episode 2, or episode 54. My bad. Welcome to the Monday Night Wave podcast. No, last week was 53.
Oh, lit.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Welcome back to the Monday Night Wave podcast, your favorite wrestling podcast. I go by your host Jay, the one, the only, the babyface, pod breaker, pods and read in the building. You know what I'm talking about. But we'll be nothing without my co-host, the one, the only, the Quattro, Mr. Jericho. Take it away.
He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is Hero, and I am he. Thank you, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. I just love the cheers. I love the imaginary cheers that I'm hearing pointing to invisible signs, just like Punk. But I don't want to bury the lead. We have a special, just a special ad tie-in with a special guest. We have an absolute actual celebrity here, you guys. Like, we're going up. He's been nominated for multiple Film Choice Awards. He's been nominated for Razzies. In 2006, he won the Women's Film Critic Circle for Most Offensive Male Character. Ladies and gentlemen, and people of all genders, give a small clap. I don't know if you're at work or in your car, for none other than the action icon, Jason Statham. I'm Jason Statham, here to promote my new movie, The Podcaster. In the film, I play Jeffrey Nachos, a retired assassin trying to live a normal life, when I run into a nice lady named Longhorse, played by Aquafina. Longhorse asks me to join her podcast as a co-host. It's a true crime podcast, and due to my previous employment, I felt like I am the right man for the job. So just when things feel like it's sunshine and rainbows, Longhorse finds out that she's on the brink of a groundbreaking story on human trafficking with some powerful names attached. And they find out and they kidnap her before we can record the episode. So it's up to me to come out of retirement for one more job and save her in time so that we can record the episode. Hero, can you read the line for me, please? Yeah. But Mr. Nachos, this is insane. You're just a podcaster. No, I'm the podcaster. Code WAV. Type in code WAV. You can get early tickets of screenings to the podcaster. Hero, can you read that other line for me? Hey, yo, Tony, look at this guy. Check him out. He think he's some kind of superhero or something. No, I'm just a podcaster. Code WAV coming out early 2026. Rated R for record. Yes. Thank you. Jason Thank
you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. We will gladly have you back on the pod.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I don't know where you be coming up with this shit. It's fucking hilarious. I don't know how. And I know when you sit there, you get the idea. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to run with this shit. The podcaster is funny, bro. I'll give you that too. That's hilarious.
Thank you.
Oh, fuck. Okay, people.
Back into wrestling.
Back into the wrestling news. Also, if I sound congested, I am. I'm sorry. It's going around. My bad. We're going to get to news real quick. Biggest piece of news today is that WWE and TNA have a multi-year partnership. I think it came out, was it Thursday, Friday? It came out that they have...
Thursday, Friday.
It was announced that WWE and TNA are partnering up. Like I said, multi-year partnership across NXT, select WWE PLEs, and TNA pay-per-views. So we're looking at a good partnership here. I don't know what to expect because I'm not trying to judge the Levesque era on what I've known from the VK era. So I'm looking at everything with an open mind. I think that if done well, this is going to be pretty solid. I think that if done right, you may, or if done wrong, you may see the last TNA. Although I don't want that to happen because I want jobs to be around in wrestling in general. I just don't like monopolizing. But speaking of more of the plus side, I think we're going to see a lot more of like Jordynne Grace. I think I don't know if she's going to sign with TNA, but she might sign with WWE, still work with TNA. I don't know what that looks like. That's going to be very interesting. We've been waiting for the Joe Hendry like pop. Maybe that's coming. Maybe we see Joe Hendry at Mania, which will be a huge fucking pop.
I think we
like,
definitely
say
see
his
him
name
at Rumble. I think
at Rumble. Oh,
I think
Joe Hendry pop at Rumble.
Number 10 or number 7. They're placing my bets.
Look,
DraftKings.
Hearing say his name in the Rumble is going to be fucking dope. That would be hard. Along with a couple other people that could pop up. You know, like Zig is the champion over there. Like,
yeah,
you may run something with Zig. Maybe you do something in NXT. Maybe you send AJ over and you do AJ versus Zig. Like, it's a possibility. There's a lot of ifs that I would like to see happen.
Yeah, a lot of ifs. I feel like it's mostly going to be NXT talent with TNA talent, right. But there is still opportunity to have those kind of crossovers with bigger names or bigger stars, such as like you said, at AJ Styles. Even Xavier posted something about like his previous character being there.
Yep.
So yeah, as far as my opinion goes, it seems like everyone's really happy on it. So, I'm going to be happy about it, I guess, because it seems like all the talent across the board seem to think it's a good, a good thing. So as of right now, I'm not going to have any fear mongering or gloom and doom.
Nah, not yet. Too early.
I'm going to let it play out. I mean, their partnership that they've been doing the last, since I think since the start of this year, because I think it started like at Rumble when we saw Jordynne Grace. But
and a little bit before that with Mickey. Like Mickey had the Royal Rumble before that too. Yeah, that was huge.
That was huge. So this last year, so 2024, it seems like it's been a really healthy relationship. We've seen a lot of different people. If you watch TNA or if you watch NXT, then you would notice, you've seen a lot of different people, such as like Sol Ruca, Wendy Chu,
Kalani Jordan,
MSK / the Rascals, that stuff. Joe Hendry, all the above. So I think it's I don't know. I think it's really cool, and if it helps get them some video game checks too, maybe some DLCs for the next 2K. I think
big money.
That would be dope too, and they're getting exposure. So I don't know. It seems like it's good, and like it's to the point where because that was 2 days ago. I just relooked at the chat, but yesterday the NXT page, or was it the WWE page? One of the pages like literally promoted TNA's pay-per-view.
The pay-per-view.
Yeah, and it's like they're actually promoting their shit, like their standalone shit. It's like NXT don't even have anything to do with this pay-per-view, but they're still promoting
right.
It. So that's cool. So I know it seems like promo for promo, type shit.
It makes me wonder though, from like a business side of it, to where like if you're using the WWE eyes for like social media and whatnot, like the cut has to be significant. Maybe not everything, but hey, if we're going to use our platform to boost you, we got to get a cut of this. That's just only fair. It's business. And that's where like we'll just watch how the details work. I don't want it to all their profits to go over there, but it is definitely dope to use your platform to boost up TNA and help them get pay-per-view buys, because they're doing pay-per-view buys. They're not on like a streaming service or nothing like that. These are actual dollars coming into like this show. Also, give a huge shout out to Naomi. I don't think a lot of this would be possible without Naomi. I think that Naomi's run as the TNA Knockouts like women's champion definitely put eyes on TNA, because you wanted to see where the two had went. Sasha and Naomi. So definitely shout out to Naomi for a crazy run. I think I also saw that Jordynne Grace also shouted out that most of this would not have happened without Naomi. So shout out to Black women. Doing big moves, big moves, y'all.
Absolutely, love it.
From here we have wait, what do you got?
We could end with Corey if you want to just do the Grand Slam thing, unless you want to end with something else.
We can do Grand Slam.
Okay.
Go ahead, you take it away.
Oh, okay. Well, so from what I'm understanding, So from what I remember, when the Grand Slam was initially started or announced, it was going to be a stadium show in Australia. Then, ticket sales weren't the greatest, so they decided to relocate. That's fine. That's a smart move. But it was still labeled as a pay-per-view. But now it's not a pay-per-view, so now it's going to be a TV special, which is a little confusing for people because if it was just a TV special, then why would you try to have it at a stadium with 70,000 stadium? That's neither, that's whatever. But the biggest or most latest news is that someone, I have no idea who, it's easy to blame TK because he's the CEO, but somebody didn't know about or didn't figure in the NBA All-Star game. So there's going to be like some schedule conflict. So now for us, because obviously there's a time difference, we wouldn't be able to watch Grand Slam until 2:30 a.m., which is kind of crazy. So that's kind of the latest news on Grand Slam is like it went from a pay-per-view to a regular show to now you got to wake up at 2:30 in the morning or stay up until 2:30 in the morning to watch it. And it kind of has people just a little confused and be like, all right, well, what's going on here? Type of thing. But I don't think anyone's like super stressing out about it or shitting on it. It is funny though. It's like all the mistakes that keep lining up is just like, what is going on here, you guys? Like, what are you guys doing?
I think a lot of it had to do with like ticket sales and whatnot. I think they shot high, and there's nothing wrong with shooting high. But I think with their first location, because it wasn't Brisbane at first, it was somewhere else.
Melbourne?
I think it was No,
Sydney?
I'm not sure. It was somewhere else.
It wasn't Perth. That's where Elimination Chamber was, right? So it was one of
it was somewhere else. And they had to change like the original like location and whatnot. But
is Lincoln. I'm sorry, Collision's on right now.
That's a crazy soundbite.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I turned around and what the fuck?
Grand Slam has always been on TV. It's been a Dynamite and Collision for the past like 4 years.
Right.
They've been doing it in stadiums too. Arthur Ashe has been a stadium for the past 4 years. So this is not unheard of.
Okay.
The only unheard of element of this is them going over to Australia, which in my head would have made it a pay-per-view because you're traveling to like a location that's out of the country, and coming up for like of course WWE in Paris and whatnot. Like you want this to be a big event, so I don't think the fans had the wrong intentions of believing that it was a pay-per-view. But historically, most of the Grand Slams have just been Dynamites and Collisions.
Which I thought that was like I thought that was the case, like similar to like Winter's Coming and Battle of the Belts, whatever.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
But the time frame is kind of nuts. The 2:30 is insane. A lot of people were like, "Hey, just put this up for us the next day, that way we can watch it or something like that." Cool. Because staying up to 2:30 to watch AEW, as much as I love wrestling, probably not going to happen. Yeah, hiccups. They shot high. They shot real high, and now you got to deal with like this scheduling conflict. The world's not going to end, but it is a little confusing for your fans.
Yeah. And it just seems like a waste of money. I mean, like for the fans, it's
for a TV show
to fly. Yes. To fly a lot of talent just for a regular 2-hour show. It seems like a waste of money, but
kind of crazy. But I mean, as like from a worker standpoint, if I'm flying over here for a show and I'm flying back home, I get a little vacation out of it. Cool. Some people do have family over there. Yeah. I know Tony's from over there. Cool. But it's like
Fletcher.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But they got paid. They getting $3.5 million a week. They got it, I guess. So we'll see how this works. Corey Graves.
Yes.
Is it a work? Is it not a work? I've read that the SRS reports that he doesn't know if it's a work or not. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. So, what do we got going on here?
Man, I keep switching back and forth as well. As of right now, I'm of the opinion it is not a work. At first, so
for the people who don't know what's happening.
So to start from the beginning, obviously with the move to Netflix, Pat McAfee came back. So we're like, all right, where the commentators going to go? And I think we talked about this last week as well. But Yeah, so they sent Corey to NXT, which if you saw that New Year's Evil episode, you could you could tell he had the boo boo face on. Like he did not look happy. Yeah, no, he did not look happy. Then you fast forward, I think it was maybe it wasn't on Monday, but you fast forward some days, and yeah, he writes this. He has a long text, and it's deleted now. But just to paraphrase, essentially was like, imagine you worked your whole life to do this and to do this dream, and now you can't. So you find a different path for it, and then someone like takes your spot and like type of shit. And then that's what the internet was like. Oh shit, okay. So then that's when people were like, all right, no, this what's going on here? Like the fucking internet was buzzing, and then a little bit after that, he tweets, "I'm a, I'm gonna get some. I have a lot to say on NXT." So
yeah.
So if it wasn't a work, if this was real, then I don't know if he was planning to have his own pipe bomb moment or if he was going to shoot. But after that, the Tuesday morning, you hear reports of he's at the airport in Florida. Then it's like, oh, he's not going to be on the show. Maybe like an hour after that. So this was like maybe 12 our time, West Coast time. It was like, yeah, he's not going to be on the show. Then the tweet gets deleted. And then and we haven't heard anything since. And then from reports, whether it's Meltzer, whether it's SRS or whoever, everyone's saying different things. I think Meltzer said it wasn't a work at first, and they were trying to turn it into work and something. So he's covering both sides, covering his ass on both sides. SRS, you said what they said. So no one knows. And the thing is, at least for me, it's like, because I stated I'm not a huge fan of Pat, and I thought, I was like, man, this kind of sucks for Corey. But we talked about it, and it's like, there's a time limit on this because college is going to start back up soon. So Pat's going to leave. You'll be fine, bro. And especially
he's leaving next. The college football game is coming up, but he's not going to be at that show. They're moving weight up, right?
Yeah, they're moving, which is like another reason. Is like, bro, if you didn't semi crash out, you probably would have been on this episode. But you decided to semi crash out and to go into business for yourself because you were upset. I mean, all this is allegedly because
it's principle. Sometimes it's principle. Sometimes it's like, hey, bro, like, you know who the fuck I am. I've been doing this for so long, and this motherfucker come in and yeet a couple times, and my job's gone.
No, and I absolutely feel that. But was that, like, again, let's say this is all real, and like he's actually upset, and like that, all the tweets where they were all real. Is that worth possibly getting fired or suspended? Especially if you know in the back of your head that you're going to be on the show in like 4 months. And I mean, we don't know this, but I have to believe he wasn't taking a pay cut. Because I feel like it would be weird to like take a pay cut for like 4 months and then they switch it and they just keep switching it back and forth. So I'm going to assume that he wasn't taking a pay cut. So if you're not taking a pay cut, you only got to be there for like 4 months. Just chill. And this is, again, if all this is real. But at the same time, I like you just, I feel it because I'd be hot too. I'd be tight. And I'm like, this guy don't even like the business like that. He taking my spot. Like, I've been on Raws and Smackdowns and yada yada yadas. I've done Manias. So I would also, like, I understand. I would be kind of tight too. But also, one last thing, real quick. On the other thing, because Coach made a point. Granted, like, I'm iffy on Coach every once in a while, but he actually made a good point, and it's like, this is something that's happened in the business a lot. Whether it was good shit or whether it was for good reasons or bad reasons, it's happened. Like JR moved a lot, Michael Cole moved a lot. Like, people get moved. Yep. It doesn't, like, again, if you're not taking a pay cut, it's not a demotion. It's just a temporary move. Like, we don't want it. We just need somewhere to place you, type of thing. So those are my thoughts on it.
I think the real issue, or one of the real issues that can come from that, though, is scheduling that around like your family activities, right? If he's going to do NXT is on Tuesday. What if he was doing? He was on SmackDowns, right? Was that before he was on?
No,
he was on Raws.
He was just on Raws. He was on Raw recently before the switch. He was on SmackDown, and then they switched. Yeah, so yeah.
So let's say he was on Raws. You know your Mondays are boxed out. You know that means that you have Tuesday through Fridays off.
No, I'm sorry.
What if that's
to correct myself? No, he was on SmackDown. Him and Michael were on SmackDown, and Joe and Wade were on Raw, and then we get the Netflix switch, and then that's when Michael's back on Raw with Pat.
Let's just reverse it.
Okay.
Monday through Thursday, you had off. And maybe that was your time with your kids, your wife, your family. I know, he's had a new baby and whatnot. Maybe there was personal elements that were built around that. And yes, jobs change and shit like that. So you have to be flexible, especially in the wrestling business. But if you're a staple, you've been doing this shit for 10 plus years, you kind of think that I'm locked in. I'm cool. I'm going to be in my spot. We're good to go. I'm doing a good job. They're not going to switch me. And then now you get switched to Tuesdays, and now daycare don't cover on Tuesdays and whatnot. And it's just a whole bunch of extra shit. Yeah. So that could be a possibility that it could be some outside personal stuff like that. He just has to reschedule with his family, which is, I can only imagine, especially when you're always on the road. And then didn't he say inside the tweet? I don't know if it was something that somebody said or something in his tweet that was, I'm being replaced for a guy just because he draws more, he gets more views or some shit like that.
I think that was in the tweet.
Something. Well, and now he kind of alludes to the fact that oh well, you guys are picking me because Pat brings in more people, which is fucked. But that is part of the business where it's he does bring a lot of people. Pat brings in eyes.
He's more famous.
It's fucked. It's the same reason. No shot, but it's the same reason why Logan gets a fucking vignette because Logan brings in views, but Carmelo's in catering. It's not just about talent; it's about who also brings more eyes to the product, and that's just the way the wrestling business is. It's just fucked up. I hate to see Corey go through it, whether it's a work or whether it's not. It definitely brought a lot of eyes, and a lot of people also felt the same way you feel, where it's fuck Pat, bring Corey back. He's part of the show.
Yeah. My thing is, I mean, my original thing was just why can't he just be with Wade and Joe? Instead of sending him into NXT, because that first episode, Booker was calling him. He was calling them both Vic. He couldn't tell the difference between the white boys. He was calling them this. So it's again, if this is real, I'd be tight. I'm bro. But okay. So one last point, I was thinking about when you were talking. And this is why I keep switching back and forth. I feel like it has to be a work, right? Because I have to imagine that all this was planned months ahead of time. I can't imagine Triple H Monday morning being yeah, so we on Netflix now. Yeah, you got to go to Tuesday. I can't imagine him doing that that week, or I would have to in my heart of hearts, I want to say they had to have had this conversation at least a month ahead of time, right? Because there was rumors that Pat was coming back. We seen that, that was everywhere. So it's a part of me feels this conversation had to have, there had to have been a meeting already, right? There's no way it was sprung on him.
Maybe he wasn't the one who was supposed to go to the NXT. Maybe it was Wade was going to NXT, and they're oh, actually it's you. Maybe they had the conversation, but he wasn't the guy that was being moved. Which, if you work any kind of job, that shit happens.
That happens too. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. You are right to where they couldn't have just sprung this on him, but shit, man, the way the WWE moves, it's anything can happen. Last year we were talking about Punk, or 2 years ago talking about Punk signing that fucking Survivor Series, day of. Anything could fucking happen. Yeah. Hopefully it's not a work. Hopefully see more Graves in WWE. I would love to see Corey get back in there. Quick little notes here before we get into the store or to the the shows. Tyler Bates close to returning from that torn pec. Big strong boy coming back. I can't wait to see him pop back off. Tyler Bates was on a run before he had that injury. Yeah, so it'd be kind of interesting to see
him and Dunn. Hopefully they put them back together so that we make sure they get TV time and shit. But I would put them on SmackDown immediately.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
We talked about it off air, but yeah, SmackDown kind of needs some more bodies.
It needs an injection,
and that their tag team scene is a lot better right now too. So
that's true. That is the strongest point about SmackDown right now is their tag team. And before we get out of here, shout out to Christopher Daniels on in-ring retirement. If you listen to this on Monday, he just had his retirement match on Saturday against Hangman Adam Page in a Texas death match. I watched the match. phenomenal match. Great match. Great way to go out. If you don't know Christopher Daniels is a wrestler of like 30 plus years, wrestled in every company possible, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, mainly known for his TNA days and ROH days, WWF, ECW, AAA, NWA, AJ, PW, NOAH, 01, MLW, CMLL. He is a legend everywhere. He's done everything. And a lot of the moves that you see today that you like are probably originated from him. He's probably one of the blueprints for that. Finisher is the best moonsault. If you've watched SmackDown, a nod that we have currently is from Tiffany Stratton, and she has the prettiest moonsault, which is a nod off of his moveset, the best moonsault. So once again, shout out to Christopher Daniels. Enjoy retirement outside the ring. Of course, you'll probably see you on air as like a manager or backstage work, but congratulations on retirement, man. One thing I will say that I did like about the death match before we get into the show is that Hangman ends up doing his finisher, stealing his finisher at the end. Match is already over, but he goes back in the ring and pulls his finisher. Imagine if in WWE or any wrestling company, if you retired a wrestler, you took their finisher like some Highlander shit. Like whoever you like put out to pasture and retired from in-ring work, like you took their finisher. Like imagine if Theory retired Cena and then took the AA. Like I like that idea. It would have to be implemented on the right characters, of course. Mm-hmm. But the idea of like you're out of here, I'm going to now absorb your fucking finisher into my moveset, which would be, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine Hangman. Well, his finisher was the moonsault, right?
No. He did another one. I forgot what the other move was. It wasn't the moonsault. It was something else. It was something wing something. I gotta look it up. But yeah, Hangman's not doing no damn moonsaults. But imagine if Dom retired Ray, and I guess he already does the 619, but still, like, he took something from his dad. Yeah. Other than that, let's get into Raw. It kicks off with a CM Punk promo.
Yeah, and I feel like we can breeze through Raw, which was like 30 minutes shorter. Felt great.
Perfect.
Pretty good show. But yeah, it starts off with a CM Punk promo. It was, typical CM Punk promo in the fact that, like, I mean, he was telling a story. He was like drawing you guys in or drawing the audience in. Seth comes out. He's still upset about the week previous. Then Drew comes out. And essentially all of this was to announce that all three of them are going to qualify for the Royal Rumble. So as of right now, we have, because Rey Mysterio announced on Friday. Mm-hmm. So you got Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, John Cena.
I thought Jay said he was going to.
Maybe. I mean, if he's in the world title pick, I don't know. We'll see.
I thought I saw him say he was in the Rumble, but never mind.
I mean, he more than likely will be. But as of right now, I think those are the 6, unless I'm missing something. And then that's not including, returns or surprises, such as maybe a Rock or, someone from TNA or whoever, So, but I want to say, we got 6 or 7 people entering, and they're all big ass names.
Yeah. So Ray, Drew, Seth, Roman, Jey Uso, CM Punk, John Cena, LA Knight.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't know. But all those, all that makes sense. But it's, that was the whole segment, and I saw some conversations rumbling where it was like, is this one of the biggest Rumbles that we're gonna get, like, ever, as far as like star power goes? And I would say at least since Ruthless Aggression era, or late Attitude era. We got a lot because we talked about it, like Roman hasn't been in a Rumble in forever.
Like 5. It has to be at least 5 years because he had the belt before. So
Again, Cena, Punk, Rollins, Drew. It's all So big. It's a lot of big names.
The bigger question is, who's the final 4?
Roman, Punk, Cena.
Roman, Punk, Cena.
The Rock. I think Roman Punk Cena,
Damn.
Roman Punk Cena, maybe Drew, or Roman Punk Cena and The Rock. I think Roman Punk and Cena. I think Cena's going to be in the last because you want that moment to where it's like, can he win it? Can he make that miracle come true? And he's not going to. So whoever throws him out is probably going to be the winner, unless he gets thrown out second to last or third to last or whatever. But yeah, as of right now, my choices is Roman, Cena, and Punk for sure, or the final, or three of those final four.
So no Seth in the final four.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if it is, if he is, that's dope. And if they want to do that a mini Shield reunion right there, that'd be. I don't think he'd do it because Seth's character right now, but the tease would get a crazy pop. Just the tease alone would get a crazy pop. But
yeah, I don't know, man. It is stacked. Like it's heavily loaded right now, and I like the fact that we're knowing early. Like we're knowing maybe 3 weeks like earlier than before. That this is going to be a really big moment. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say more about the promo, but
no, it was fine.
He did some nods. He nodded like, "You can't see me." You had John Cena, so like he's teasing the I won't say inevitable, but the potential matchup there that people want to see because we haven't seen them two in a ring. It has been 10 plus years now. Like it has to be. Yeah. Like I think 2013 was the last time Punk was like really in and Cena was in at the same time. So 2013, 2015 maybe. But yeah. It's going to be a time.
After
this leads into
it's the moment.
Yeah,
I don't want to say it's the moment of the night, but it's kind of the moment of the night.
No, it's 1000% the moment of the night.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say kind of. Which I'm going to let you take the reins. This is your boy.
Ciero Miedo. What? Yes, bro. My boy is in the E. Penta is in the WWE. Had a great entrance. I loved it, man. I love that the pyro. I love he came out strutting on like the La Parka vibe. Like he's just in his bag. Like
okay, well, before you go any further, real quick, I have a question.
Yeah,
because the day of Raw, like hours before the show, they dropped the merch. How do you feel? Because I saw some people like, "You're spoiling it," and it's like, well, if you watched last week, we already knew he was coming this week because there was not only
we already
knew.
Ago.
yeah, but it was like Chad set it up, and there was a video that said Penta.
Right.
so it's like, but how do you feel? How did you feel about them, or just overall? I guess you don't have to worry about what I just said about what other people's opinions. But how did you feel about them releasing the merch early? As a huge fan of his, but like, oh, this shit is gonna be fire, and this is like 5 hours before the show even starts.
I like it. It got like I like the fact that like we've already it's hard to keep shit under wraps, right? It's hard to keep things secrets and whatnot. This is not really a secret. We know that they talked about on the first Netflix show that he's going to face a luchador. You were advertising Penta. I didn't have any issue with it. I saw some people like, oh, it's going to be a flex. Look, they're already selling masks and shit like that. But then I started doing more research and started digging around on why it wasn't available in AEW. To where there's certain rights to mask. I didn't know this. This is a huge like luchador thing where you can't sell his mask. Like it's his mask. Like it's weird. If you look at the mask that's on sale right now versus the mask that he actually wears, it's slightly different.
Right.
There's rights to mask.
Right. But so why couldn't they do it? Because they have hologram masks on AEW. Do
you see the quality of the hologram mask?
Yeah, I saw. Let's
just keep it a stack. Let's keep it a stack.
I saw.
If somebody approach you with that and say, "Oh yeah, this is what we can make," you're like, "Nah, I pass. I'm good, bro. Just don't sell my mask."
I low-key almost bought one this week too because I saw someone do a picture of a side by side of what Penta's mask looks like with which is $75. Honestly, I think that's a good price. I saw people complaining about the price too, and I'm like, I mean, if it looks that good, it like, are you going to? I mean, it's a lot. But it's a video game though too. It was like that's a video game.
There's some video games that are worth $75. Let's keep it stacked.
Well, absolutely. Of course. But I mean, essentially, it's a video game. But
overall, though, I loved it. I love the fact that it's selling the mask. Those are going to be huge killers. The kids are going to love those. Adults are going to wear those. You're going to see them at football games and shit like that. Like if they do multiple colors too, it's out of here, bro. It's fucking raps. I love the white shirt. I just won't wear the white shirt because I'm just not wearing white. But if it come in black, I got it. 1,000%.
Well, yeah, I think he had a black one too. I think he had 2 shirts, didn't he?
Yeah, but the white one had the better graphic to me.
The white one was hard.
that shit was tough.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, aside from that, talking about the entrance, the presentation, it was dope. I loved it. He ends up having a phenomenal match with Chad Gable. I think the shit was 15 minutes, almost 15, 20 minutes. It was a pretty long match.
I want to say it was a 20. Yeah, it was between 15 and 20.
It was, and they're killing it. And what cracked me was the kid bawling, her eyes out. Mm-hmm. And I sat there before I even knew that the kid was related to him. I was like, that has to be somebody related. That has to be a daughter or something. Because the kid was bawling. WrestleMania, you've never seen this before. And at that point, I sat there and yo, this is what it's all about. You grind for, 20, 30 plus years to get to the biggest stage in his eyes, which was WWE, and you finally make it. You make it in front of your kids. It's raps, bro. It's fucking raps.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Okay.
He was selling the fuck out of his knee too.
And I made the joke. I made the joke, and I couldn't pass up the bait, but because I used to watch Lucha Underground. And okay, so to piggyback or to comment on something you said before, yeah, you're right. It was the worst. Even Michael Cole was the worst kept secret. Everyone knew he was going to come there or show up. We just didn't know when exactly. But yeah, I made the joke because I watched Lucha Underground. I've seen him in ROH and whatnot, but I made the joke. I was I've never seen him sell this much because he was selling the fuck out that ankle. To the point where my favorite thing, he gave us 2 memes in this one match. But when Gable slams his thing on the post, he screamed. Someone put the Tom and Jerry scream on him. That shit is hilarious, bro. I was in tears. Because because the camera even zooms in on his face while it's happening.
Yeah, while he's doing it. Yeah. But he was selling the fuck out of it, bro. He was doing a lot of.
He was legit selling. There was one little. I don't want to say.
There was a couple hiccups.
It was I don't want to say botch. I would say wisp because at the end of the day, these are. The ropes are different. The ring is different as far as dimensions.
First time chemistry with somebody.
Yeah, and the match itself was good. It's just there was that one move he did with the bottom. It was
the leg drop.
Yeah, the leg drop, the
springboard leg drop.
Yeah, their ropes don't have as much spring in it compared to other ropes. And I think the ring is a little bit bigger dimension wise as opposed to
the dive. This nigga did a dive and almost broke his goddamn shoulder blade. It was hey, bro, calm down. You gotta last over here, okay? We don't need you to go fucking crazy. Just slow it down. You ain't gotta be extra over here. Yeah. You did a fucking sunset pile driver, and people lost their fucking mind. You don't have to do the most. Okay?
Yeah, the Mexican destroyer.
The Mexican destroyer.
AKA the Canadian destroyer. But people were popping as fuck for that. It's a move that's been around forever. It's just in certain places, whether it's an indie promotion or other places in general, you see that move a lot. You don't really see that move in WWE a lot. So anytime you see it, that's why people pop or because you don't see that move
you don't see it. Yeah, it's not as common, like you said, in WWE.
The first year AEW, almost every match had one. To where yes. I hate also early black and gold. I wouldn't say early. I would say mid black and gold NXT. During the Undisputed era, it was between that and AEW, it was I hate this move. I hate it's y'all doing this way too much. But no, it was good. Just a few minor hiccups, nothing crazy. Match, good match. How do you feel about the promo?
I loved it because he cut it in Spanish and he cut it in English, which is also kind of pissed me off because if this motherfucker was able to do this, why was he not doing this in AEW?
Why did they tell exactly?
He had a manager who was talking for him, but he was the passion that he had in his like post match interview or promo or whatever, it was like, bro, like this shit would have been hard in AEW. But nevertheless, we got it here today. I like that, he's connected with the fans, he's talking about, San Jose, talking about how, this is for, Mexican wrestlers and just all that. It was, I feel like some point, they hit him with what's the Dave Chappelle joke with the wrap that shit up, B? At some point, it was like, okay, we got to, hurry up and get you off air. But other than that, it was great. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I thought the promo was great. Shout out to Gable too, because Gable worked phenomenal in that match. Made him look really fucking good.
Made him look like a star,
a superstar. And shout out to the booking. Shout out to no interference. Nobody, no help.
I wore the shirt just for you.
There was no LWO this week. That's all I wanted. All I fucking wanted was or American Made. That was it. I am Gucci. That was the best way we could have handled this. I am a happy camper. I have no issues at all.
Okay, real quick. I thought the promo was great. I too was wondering, where was this at the last 5 years? Because you could, even though he's wearing a mask and he has paint, and he has paint on his face, you could still feel the passion. Like you could see the passion in his eyes, and I was like. It drew you in, and it was fucking cool. And speaking of the wrap it up thing, because a couple hours after the show, or maybe it was literally the next day, there was some dirt sheets or some pages. Some there's people in backstage that are upset with him. He went over long, all this other stuff.
I hate these niggas, bro.
Which eventually it did get debunked. But
yeah.
The first, a lot of people were like, well, wait a minute, because Triple H on multiple accounts said if they want to go 5 hours, they could. They're not gonna, but it's like we ain't got no hard time.
Exactly.
It was a show on the West Coast, so that's our time. So if it starts at 5 and it ends at 8 on a regular 3 hour show, that means they ended at 7:30. So if they were over a little time, maybe 7:35. I don't think that's not gonna get them in trouble. So it's just fishy, and I'm not. And this is another tinfoil hat moment, but no, it sounds like whether it was someone hating in his old company or whether it was someone hating in this company, someone was just making lies.
Just motherfucking tribalistic fans, because that shit spreads, bro. I can come out today and be like, "Oh, CM Punk hates Jey Uso," and then tag some fake ass fucking "This is Wave Insider Wrestling," and then people believe that shit, bro. It's weird, yo.
Yeah,
I hate it. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that at all.
I'll say it.
Speaking of, no, hell nah. Because I said Jey Uso, and it made me think about some shit that happened this week, and I'm just like,
no. We're not TMZ.
We're not doing that at all.
No.
It's funny. We're talking about the promo and how he's talking or whatever. And I was like, what if he was charging Tony per sentence? Maybe he was like, hey, you want me to talk? It's 20 bands per sentence, bro. He's like, fuck it. We'll get you a manager.
Shit, the way he be licensing music, that's Tony would.
That's true.
He would willingly throw
that. That's true. This nigga Tony will throw a bag.
He's
got Elton John on the payroll right now.
You want Selena's song too? He would what?
I ain't gonna lie. If a nigga come out to Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb, that's gonna be hard. I don't know who's gonna do it.
Suavamente, Suavemente. Hey,
Suavemente?
Suavemente.
Oh man, that should be hard.
We need DT's bilingual ass on here.
From here, we get a quick. There's a clubhouse promo with Judgment Day. We get Ludwig versus Sheamus, which was a good match.
Yeah.
In that post match, we see that Sheamus is confronted by Braun Breaker, which is, I think it's set up. Saturday Night Main Event is gonna be Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the IC, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Which I have a minor complaint. It doesn't need to be longer than 30 seconds, but the last 2 weeks, I'm not feeling what they're doing with Braun. It's very similar to what we talked about last week, where it's why is Gunther having a video package when he can also be in the stands? Because you have Cody in the stands. Braun Breaker has not done shit the last 2 weeks. Like he needs to get some shit off. Like it's I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. They needed to do something though. So that's what I got to get. Because it's like because what we see him at main event. I mean, maybe since we're seeing him at main event, maybe he'll have something on Monday. But it's like I don't know. Like just having him bark in the stands. That's for the new audience. That's not going to get him over. Like
especially when he's like one of the hottest young talents in WWE.
Yeah.
To consider that he's not going to wrestle the first 3 weeks on Netflix would it be a slight misstep to me? Would it be the end of the world? But like, I think we should definitely get him on one of the Netflix Raws. Like,
it's not the end of the world, but to me, it is a misstep towards like he's a champion. He's one of your newer stars. You want him to be the next Roman in the next like 6 years. So we should start doing something with him. It's the 2 weeks on Netflix, and you haven't done shit with him besides show his face once. I don't know. But that was my
unless it's setting up something bigger. Unless it's like, okay, let's say Sheamus gets the IC and that opens up Braun to take on Cena or something like that. Maybe it's like we can't do nothing with you because we're trying to end this feud here to put you in something bigger for like the Mania picture and whatnot. Because he is that important to the show. I think Braun Breaker, we've talked about him several times. Like he's just a fucking star, bro. Like he needs to be on the show.
Yeah. We get a quick backstage with Seth, which he's essentially so we get Seth and Drew next week. Then he talks to Sammy and tells Sammy essentially to be your man. Where it's like, cool, you helped Roman, you helped him do his thing. Now are you gonna help him win at the Rumble too? Are you gonna help are you gonna help yourself? And which that eventually sets up a match with Sammy and Miz later, which that match was cool. Sammy won on a Blue Thunder Bomb. Only the 6th time this ever happened, I think. I saw a compilation video of how many times he's won off a Blue Thunder Bomb. I love that move. So I popped for that. I was like, holy shit, he got a Blue Thunder. I mean, he did get a Haluva kick before, so it would have been ridiculous if he didn't get that win. But yeah, so Sammy's getting some wins, setting him up, making him look strong for the Rumble. And what it was after that, we get the Gunther and Jay.
Before that, real quick.
Oh yeah.
Wyatt Six is on SmackDown now.
Yeah, they nonchalantly said that too, which that kind of makes sense. I expect Wyatt Six to go. Honestly, I think Judgment Day is going to go, especially after the way this episode ended, because we know they're doing this transfer portal shit. So I expect some minor changes to some of the shows. So yeah, knowing that the Wyatt Six are on SmackDown, that makes some sense because they want their bigger, heavier hitters on Raw. I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do all that spooky shit on USA.
Hey, all that spooky shit, you gotta do that over there.
Yeah, do that on regular television. But yeah, so the other main thing that because this is before that. So yeah, the other thing to really talk about with the show, there's only like 2 more things after this, but we get a promo battle, or not a battle, but we get a promo with Jey Uso versus Gunther, which sets up a Saturday Night Main Event. You have any thoughts on this promo at all?
Is Jey the right person for this?
Yes and no. I say yes due to popularity. Yes, in the sense that Gunther could use a match that's not a because he already fought Damian last Saturday main event. He needs, it's something they can do for a quick one-off if they want to.
In the second time, I thought he fought Jey already. Or was that for the IC, not the World?
It was for the IC, which because Gunther says it in a promo. He's like, "I already beat you. You can't beat me. Like, you're just a really good tag team wrestler, bro. But like, are you really serious? Like, yeah, because he laughed. And he's like, "You sure about this?" Like, I'll actually give it to you. Like, unlike Sammy and shit, like, he's like, he's like, Gunther's like, no, all right, think about this. But all right, I'll give it to you. But it was a really good promo from Gunther because Gunther comes out first and he's like, man, and he kind of responds to some of the feelings that we had last week about like, why is he not on the show? And he's like, bro, the only title that matters is this. It doesn't matter who's at the head of the table or who's whatever, blah, blah, blah. What matters is what I have right now, which is the World Heavyweight Championship. And then Jey Uso comes out. He comes out through the normal entrance, but he comes out like it's a double-edged sword, but his entrance makes him very winded. So like his whole first half of this promo is just him catching his breath. And but
Oh
it
shit!
was still a good promo. And then Gunther bars him up, and then as he's leaving, Jey Uso hits the real passionate bag. He's like, yeah, I was always told I can only be a tag team guy. I can only be this. I can only be that. But you gonna get my respect when I beat your ass at Saturday main event. Pretty decent promo. But I think we know. I don't think the title's gonna change hands. That's for
Nope.
sure. And I think it's a nice little one off because it's at that moment to where he's so hot, like he has to get some of these opportunities. It doesn't necessarily mean he has to win them, but he has to start getting some of them. Similar to where it got to the point where LA Knight was so hot, you had to have him fight Roman at some point just to get it out of the way. If that makes sense.
My question is, he's so hot. When does he win some of them? The last big win was the IC belt. Like, we have to do something with it. How do we capitalize on the momentum without giving him a world title? Like, what does that look like?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
I don't fully know because I don't fully know. I don't think he's going to get a title. So he's going to lose this, and he already declared for the Royal Rumble. So that's going to be the thing, right? So he's going to lose this. We're going to see him in Rumble, and then whatever happens at Rumble either probably sets his trajectory for Mania, or it'll be a little bit after Rumble. I saw reports saying that they really want Tonga Loa back, hopefully by Mania, for a tag match. Based off what we see on SmackDown, I think their plan is, and this is speculation, I think they want a 3v3 where you get Usos and Solo versus Tonga and Jacob. So I think their trajectory is trying to go for a 3v3. Again, speculating. So I don't think he's going to get a singles title. I think it's very possible he gets another singles title this year before the year is up. But I don't think it's going to be before Mania.
Do we see a possibility where Jay could be a world champion?
Yes.
In this year?
I think it's plausible. I think it's plausible. I personally don't see it till like 2026 because it like dead ass. I think Finn for sure needs a legit reign.
Absolutely.
I think Sammy should get a reign before Jay personally. I think Drew should probably get a legit at least a fucking month. Like I think there's a lot of and then there's Punk, and then there's the possible Cena 17. So I mean obviously there's two titles now, but I think there's a lot of people that I don't want to say could use it more, but I think there's a lot of people that make more sense to have it than Jay. At least this next year. This next year is really stacked. It's really
even with that, like it's still like Cody's still the guy. It's like as much as like we want Cody to lose it, he loses it, he's gonna get it right back. Not initially like back to back, but like he's gonna be a multi-time WWE champion. Like it's a tough situation. It's a really tough situation for Jay.
I don't think it's. I mean, it's tough, but like it's not like unfeasible. It's going to be there. It's just like, is it going to be in 2025 or is it going to be in 2026? He could also get another IC run. His IC run was only like a month or less than that. So it's like he doesn't need to be in the world. He doesn't need to win it in 2025. He doesn't need to, especially if he's still as over as he is, which I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So
no.
Speaking of IC, after that we get our first women's IC champion, which is going to be Lyra Valkyria. I thought it was a decent match. Not really.
I thought it was a dope match.
Yeah, I thought not too much. I don't have too much to really say on it.
I do. They got a mean ass suplex bump they took. Straight to the fucking apron. Like I was like, oh, these girls is putting the bodies on the line. I loved it. I loved the match. I love Dakota came out and was wrestling wrestling her ass off. Post match, she ends up like shaking her hand, kind of like still solidifying that she's a baby face and whatnot.
I was low-key a little surprised by that, but I'm glad that they did that.
Really?
Yeah, just because she's has a history of turning on people, but I was fine with it. Honestly, I like both these ladies. I would have been fine with either one. and with Lyra with it, it's making me fantasy book even more in my head. And I'm like, honestly, I think it's going to be her and Becky at Mania for the IC. I think
that'd be a cool little run back.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cool run back from their NXT thing / the teacher and the student type shit. And that's assuming if Becky doesn't go after like Rhea or whatever, because I think we're still getting Charlotte and Tiffany. But,
shit, if Becky comes back in Rumble, are we like 100% sure that she's going to be back by Rumble and in Mania?
I mean, there's been a lot of news that she for sure is going to have a Mania program. So and there's still time. Like even if it's not Rumble, she still has time to.
Right.
Yeah, you still have. You still have March you still have March. So even if she doesn't come back with Rumble, we'll probably see her at Rumble.
I like it's a big week for NXT call-ups. A big 2 weeks, right? So you got Tiffany who wins like the women's belt, and you see Lyra wins the mid card here. Like so, we're seeing that they're investing in the call-ups from NXT. So shout out to like the women who are getting like spotlighting moments. I thought that's a dope sign.
To have a callback from last week's discussion, those are two women that Becky personally elevated with matches.
That's true.
Shout out to DT for that. Just a callback. Just a callback. Main event?
Yeah, the street fight.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Well, okay, because the street fight was good. As a Finn, I mean, I love Priest. I have a picture of Priest. I'm a Priest fan, but Finn. If Seth is my one, Finn is probably my number two. So as a Finn fan, I was like, I need him to win because I call him Win Balor, and then DT gets upset because he don't be winning, But he does.
Rightfully so.
He does be winning. He loses a lot though too.
Okay.
He does lose a lot, or he at least eats the pin a lot. But for me, the writing was on the wall. I feel like Priest was for sure going to win this. The part that I don't like is near the end. So I don't know if you want to say stuff before I go. And the part,
your part? What is it involved with? Is it the
stretcher? It's the stretcher spot. It's after the table with the stretcher. I'm gonna let you. It's a boomer complaint. It's very boomer.
I got some shit to say.
Okay.
I will say like the broken arrow off of the balcony is where I really started to like tune in. Dope spot. After that, we get the stretcher. So, what do you have to say about the stretcher spot? Because I got some shit too.
I was upset with it because, and again, this is a very boomer complaint, old man yelling at cloud type thing. But as a baby face, you should not be attacking the injured person on a stretcher. That is not a baby face move to do. When I saw that, I was like, now I for sure want Finn to win. Like that is not a babyface thing to do. And I'm sorry, you guys. Like if AEW did it, which they've done this before, they've done something like this before, I'd be on the ass too. So I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it the same energy. That is not a babyface move to where I'm like, what the fuck? Like I legitimately kind of got upset. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like what is like?
Hey.
And like
nasty work.
I get like, oh, he's so angry. He just really wants revenge because Finn, he was his brother and he took his title. Like, no, but that's not a baby face move though. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you don't like that. He was stretchered out, like leaving, and then he just runs and starts beating his chest in, rolls him. The part when he rolled him to the ring and like how Finn like slid into the ring, that shit was absolutely hilarious. But like that was really funny. That was really funny.
The nigga got a fucking neck brace on and he's beating the hell out of this nigga. He could have real major injuries, but you like, I'm the baby face. I'm just gonna beat the fuck out of him. And then you push the stretcher and he rolls in. Yeah. It's like this is not baby face activity.
It is not a baby face move. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it was like, yeah.
Also, terrible ambulance people. Why is this man not strapped in?
Yeah. Yeah. Where was the fuck? Yeah, where were those goddamn straps?
He left this nigga on a bear stretcher. He got rolled into the ring. He got choke slammed.
And he's just dead. And that's why I'm like, okay, like I don't think he's legit injured. He might take a small vacation, but I think Judgment Day is going to go to SmackDown. I think they're going to get moved. But like, yeah, no, like that. that legitimately like kind of made me angry. I'm like, this is not my America. No, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm just like, that's not what a babyface does. Like, it made me upset. It legit made me upset.
You right. You absolutely right, bro. And then to put the icing on the cake, this nigga chokeslams him and was like, I'm not my brother's keeper. It's like he was already done a while ago, bro. He didn't ask for that south of heaven to come out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, hopefully this was the stamp that just kind of like closes the chapter on Finn and Priest.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to see this no more. Like, let's just close it off, leave it done, bro. Either Priest goes to SmackDown or Finn goes to SmackDown. Somebody got to go. Period.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real. Like, based on what we were talking about with like Corey Graves and switching the Wyatts, I feel like they're going to keep Priest on Raw and send Judgment Day to SmackDown. Like, if
they could use the star power though. Like, they could really use somebody like a Priest to kind of like a 1A, 1B, the Cody situation. They need a 1B. They need one.
That's kind of LA Knight, but Priest could take that spot. But
I can see that. Well, and maybe that could be the case too for SmackDown, to where maybe somebody needs to step up. They were just waiting for somebody to step up.
Okay, so there's not a 1B as far as the main title picture because LA Knight is still a mid card. So yeah, I could see that. Okay, and that's assuming if you just call Roman 1A or something, and Cody's still just regular 1A. Then yeah, I think Priest could fit into that 1B spot. But then they still need some more heels. Like SmackDown actually like needs a few more credible bodies. So yeah, sending all of Judgment Day there gives Cody a bunch. I mean, granted he's fought Judgment Day already, but it gives them something. It gives them like 5 extra people.
Especially because like with the semi call back in the KO promo this week where he's talking about, or Ray's like, oh, you sound like my son. Maybe Dom pops up. Maybe that's a slight shot at something happened or foreshadowing. But we'll get into that after AEW, of course. But we're going to take a quick little break. When we get back, we'll talk about Dynamite and everything that happened on Dynamite, going to SmackDown, and then we'll get out of here. But cool. We'll be right back. We're back and we're gonna talk about AEW Dynamite. Show kicks off with the return of the wrestling god, Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage in a pretty not lackluster, just a regular standard match. You know, it wasn't nothing over the top. It wasn't no 5-star.
Bleacher
Classic,
Report gave it an
like
A
that.
minus, which is ridiculous.
Huh?
Yeah,
Look,
no. Bleacher Report
I'm a huge Kenny fan, but like,
the match was fine. Yeah, they gave it an A minus, which I don't know, what the difference between that and star ratings are, but they gave us an A minus. It was a fine match. My first question of this entire show is, why is this match so long? Because this match,
it was.
I mean, based off of what we talked about last week, and how we kind of want Kenny's run to go, it's very clear that they're not going to do anything close to kind of like how we want Kenny to do. But he's his own man and whatnot. But it's one of those things where it's like, granted, I know Brian Cage, like if you never seen what Brian Cage looks like, which I would hope so since you listen to this podcast, he looks like a fucking freak of nature. He muscle meathead man. But so it looks like he would be a formidable opponent, but also he never wins anything in this company. Besides like the extra 5,000 from a battle royal or whatever, but he never wins anything. So why is someone like Kenny taking so long to take out this man? It's like, just bruh, if you don't hit him with the V trigger and get this shit done, that's how I was feeling. I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, bruh, like, and then like he's selling the gut, which is cool.
Yeah.
If we didn't, because I didn't fully say this last week. We briefed on it, but it's like when I was talking about the promo, I was like, it was a good promo. The promo itself was good. It just would have hit better if we didn't see his match in Japan. And then I didn't rewatch last week, but I rewatched the video package, and in that video pack, like you see Kitty in that video package doing all sorts of crazy shit. He didn't sell that gut at all in the video package. So so let's say I did watch Wrestle Dream, and then fast forward to that Dynamite. As a smart audience member, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I just watched him go 30 minutes with Gabe Kidd. And then you fast forward another week and he's selling the gut, when it's like, again, it would hit harder if he didn't have this Wrestle Dream match. That's the only thing. Otherwise, what they're doing is correct. Like having his real life surgery and having that be part of his ongoing story with all with all his future feuds and whatnot. That is the right thing to do. That's what they should do. That's what they're doing with Randy Orton. Do it with Seth's knee and Seth's back and blah blah blah. Like that's what you do. It just does not hit as hard when, again, 2 weeks ago we saw him go crazy with Gabe. Like, I mean, even if you didn't watch the match, just watching the highlights, he was going crazy. Like he looked almost like old Kenny. But then again, he was in Japan, so he had his swag back. But yeah, it just doesn't hit as hard knowing that, because it's in the video package. Like, in Wrestle Kingdom, in the video package.
To be fair, in Wrestle Kingdom, he was selling the gut as well.
Okay.
So that was the thing that he was doing in Japan too in that match. I do agree that it did go a tad bit too long. Like this should have been a little bit shorter. I do understand also trying to give, it is your first match back, and like it is somewhat of an honor for Brian Cage to have like the first match of Kenny. So he probably wanted to give him like something. It wasn't no A minus. It was definitely it was a good match. It was a pretty standard match, and even though it was standard, Kenny's standard is still light years above a lot of other people, but solid match, nothing to go too fucking crazy about. The story picks up when he ends up getting the pin on Brian Cage, and we see the Don Callis family comes out, and that's when Lance Archer, Fletcher comes out. We get a nice little square off with Konosuke, which is kind of like, oh my god.
Well, like, Fletcher was already out. Again, or not Fletcher, I'm sorry. Archer, he was already out because Archer
was already there, yeah.
But to Kesha, he randomly showed up, and then Fletcher, I think, randomly showed up as well.
And then also Don Callis ends up putting his hands on Kenny in this match too, and that's the first time I've seen Don Callis in a while, like actually go up and physically start punching on somebody.
Yeah, he was punching him. I mean, the punches looked terrible, but he was also stomping the shit out of him too, though. I was like, damn, all right.
In the loafers,
Yeah.
no socks. If people are having an issue with what the story here is, the tie-in with all this, because Will comes out and saves Kenny, is the Don Callis. The common thread that Kenny has with Will is Don Callis. If you also don't know, Kenny fought Will at Wrestle Kingdom, destroyed him. Will got his lick back at Forbidden Door. So the 1-1 against each other. They have history with each other. That's the story that they're kind of like building up off of right now. I'm thinking that they're probably going to end up being a tag team. Will put out a promo today on Collision where he was like, me and Kenny did have a talk on Dynamite, so they're going to have a talk next week. And you're probably going to end up seeing them team up, which is something that I don't think anybody's seen before. No. At least not that I know of. So get ready for a new team name. It's probably going to be like the Golden Assassins or some shit like that. Like, that's just me spitballing here. And they're probably going to team up against the Don Callis family. Like,
the thing is,
that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah. No. Okay. So my thing is with that. Granted, like all that. I mean, them being like we talked about it. Like, obviously, that's the way that they're kind of going with the two match. Like, with the two matches, or the part that's confusing to, or that might be confusing to people who are new to this or who don't fully understand, is that those two matches with Kenny and Will, those were in Japan, and those were like 3-4 years ago. So
one was in Japan. The other one wasn't.
Okay.
Forbidden Door was over here.
Oh, it was over here? Okay. My bad.
Yeah.
So if you're new, so if you're new, you're probably like kind of confused on why they're beefing. Right. I'm glad that Will talks about it in Collision. I have Collision in the background, but it's on mute. But it's one of those things where I don't know. I feel like they could have had this conversation this week. Like, it could have been a quick one, like after this segment. They could have just had a quick backstage thing. Just be like, let's talk. We'll talk next week. Because at the end of the day, essentially the storyline is going to be the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But it's these last 2 weeks, I'm like, why are you guys having such a hard stare down? Like, I get you guys had a beef, but clearly Will saved your ass twice. What are you staring him down for? Like, thank this.
Right.
Give this nigga a hug or something at this point. But I don't know. It's just, I get what they're trying to do. I just, like AEW, like I get at least half of what they're trying to do is just the execution of it, where it's like, this is confusing, but at least I know what you're trying to do. I just like, it's kind of confusing, but yeah, man. I don't know. How do you like, cause they're still going to be outnumbered. So either the elite are going to show back up, which that's going to bring a whole other can of worms as far as storytelling goes, because they poured hearts on his cake and all this other BS that they did. Yeah. Or we're gonna get Kota Ibushi, and even then he'll still be. I feel like they'll still be technically outnumbered. Because Don Callis. Yeah, it's interesting. I just want them to
go back to your original point. The original point was like with why. Kenny got saved last week too. This is the second time he got saved by Ospreay, and he looked at him crazy as fuck. And we still don't know why Kenny's looking at him crazy as fuck. And I think that's what you're meaning to. Where like, why is Kenny like so against like pairing with them? From a perspective of a fan just watching now, we have no idea. If you want to do the research, you're probably gonna get everything. But not everybody has the time, nor do they need to do the effort to go back and look at everything. So I think we should have It should have been Kenny leading the promo against Ospreay. Like, maybe I need to talk to him and get some shit off my chest instead of Will talking to Ospreay. At least from my perspective.
No, I agree with that too, because it's like, I saved you twice. Why do I gotta talk to you? It's very,
And then to go back to your second point, to where like they're outnumbered, the easy answer is the elite. Yeah. But also with that, it makes things even more convoluted because, like you said, they fucking put you on a stretcher and sent you out. Like, what? But the elite were active in Japan. They did with those tag team belts in Japan. So I don't know if they're technically going to be baby faces. They were baby faces in Japan, like, or in that show at least. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't want it to be the elite, but it would make the most sense. It would make the most sense in the next like show. I don't know. Unless they're doing Okada in the next show, and maybe that could be the threat too. Because you still have to get to Okada versus Kenny in LA, which is in March. So maybe it is the Elite
Wait, is that
ends
confirmed?
up turning her back.
Or wait,
I think that's not confirmed, but I think that's going to be the marquee match is Okada versus Kenny in LA. That has to be the match.
What's in March?
Revolution, or is it Revolution?
It might be.
No. Yeah, it is Revolution. It's in March. Yeah.
Why the fuck would they do? Okay,
They're in LA.
Yeah.
LA. The Bucks are going to be back by then. I think the big match that they could tease is that, because I think like Kenny came back during like the Okada match, if I'm not mistaken.
It was after he won, because Christopher Daniels was like, I'm not an EVP anymore, which he never was,
but he is, yeah.
And then Kenny came out, and then like they shook hands and they looked, but it's like why would Kenny want that shit again? Moxley's tearing a rise in this company. Why would Kenny want that other title?
For sure. There's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that. Next
we get to that.
Yeah, next segment.
For here we get the Ricochet promo.
Lack thereof. Because he didn't get to talk, really.
It was very small. He's a point at himself. He didn't talk. He shows that he bashed Swerve and he's bleeding with the knife and whatever. Swerve came out with the chain, chased him off. It actually sets up.
Before that. Okay, so he gets booed. They're trying to do Dom type boos. Then he's like, "All right, fine. If that's how you want it. Well, I can't speak or something like that. Well, a picture says 1,000 words." And then he shows Swerve. And then, because you said something about Callis, so this also made me think of this. And I'm going to get to another point when we get to the Hurt Syndicate. But before Swerve comes out, Nana comes out and hits him with a chair. Yes. And Ricochet sells the shit out of the chair. Nana has never attacked anybody that I can recall. And if he has, this is the second time.
I'm trying to think. I ain't got nothing off the top of my head right now.
You know, and listeners, you can fact check me, but from what I recall, Nana has never attacked anybody. So does that make Ricochet pussy, or like why is Ricochet different? Is he just light work? Like,
that's not where I thought you was going with that at all, bro. That caught me for a loop. Maybe you just caught lacking. If you get caught lacking by the manager, that's crazy. But then again, he did hear the music. He was looking at the entrance for Swerve to come out, and he just gets snugged by Nana with the chair.
Who's never attacked anybody before.
That's also true.
So you got this dancing barista with a dashiki on beating your ass. That shit is wild, bro.
Okay.
It's just a question. We got to think. We got to look at it. We'll let it play out. But I'm just. It's a thread to another point. We'll talk about it. I have a question.
Yeah, I think their match is right next. So yeah, it sets up Swerve versus Ricochet in Atlanta at Collision. Right. So we'll see how that goes. I do like the Dom Ricochet. I like the glasses, like the villain-esque, like he's trying to play. It gives me in like the Justice League movie where old boy played Lex Luthor, to where he like everybody hated the fact that he was Lex Luthor because he wasn't threatening.
Jesse Eisenberg,
like Jesse Sandberg or something like that. It gives me that kind of vibe to where it's like, oh, he's supposed to be the big bad, but he's not. But you're just like irritating. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with it. I like it. I like the ahas. I like the Jada Kiss ad libs. Next up, we get Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Shelton MVP versus Private Party and Mark Briscoe. Before we get into the match, the venue. I like the venue.
Oh yeah,
I like the element of. I thought this shit was tight.
The venue was nice, and it was a decent crowd. To where there was moments to where you can tell that they were into some stuff and obviously not into other shit. But yeah, it was the venue was relatively nice. The
venue was cool. If they're running these smaller venues, I think you definitely have something with these smaller, like unique setting venues. I think that's really fucking dope. But yeah, quick little 3v3 here. Shout out to MVP who actually wrestles like 70% of this match, like showing everybody that, hey, I got a cane, but I could still like, get active. But this is inevitably probably going to set up a tag team against Private Party. Shelton actually ends up getting the win here with the super kick.
Yeah. In 2025, that shit is wild.
Definitely.
If you're not the Usos or the Young Bucks, that's kind of wild.
But that's also his finisher, though. That was his finisher before them.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, because Sheldon's been around.
He's always super kicked people. I think his old finisher before was like the flatliner. I think it used to be like a tiger suplex or some shit.
It was like a T-bone suplex or something like that.
Yeah. T-bone. It was something that started with super.
He's been doing the super kick for a minute now,
and it was a really good super kick. It was a really nice super kick.
So they ended up doing a promo.
Your match is confirmed. I think it's for Dynamite. We get a tag team match next week.
Okay,
I believe so.
So we got the tag team set up, or the tag team belts of Hurt Syndicate versus Private Party. They do a promo on Collision where they talk about like, Bobby's never been a tag team champion and he wants to go after the gold, or they're going after all the gold. So maybe the goal here is for Bobby to get a tag team title, which I haven't done my history on to kind of fact check, but whatever, so be it.
If they say he's never done it, then I guess. And at least they're explaining
too early. Is it too early for them to lose it? Because they just got it from the Bucks. Yeah. But in that same, it's a double question. Is it too early for them to lose it? And if they do lose it, does the Hurt Syndicate bring significant draw to the tag belts?
Okay. So the first part is a yes and no. It's too early in the sense that obviously, yes, they just won it. And it seems like they were, whether you can, I don't know. It like you can put on your tinfoil hat and say they won it for performative reasons, whether it was just having black people on the card and having black champions, or whether it is we're trying to pivot from a storyline. The elite taking over AEW storyline isn't hitting, and we're going to do Deathriders. So let's just have a nice little small reset. So in that sense, whether it's one of those two things or whether it's something else, then sure, I guess it might be a little too soon. It's not too soon in the sense, though, that since they won it, they haven't been showcased as much. They haven't seemed like they're important, or the tag teams haven't been prioritized. So if you put it on a Hurt Syndicate that looks like superstars compared to majority of the roster, that will garner the eyes, that has a Bobby Lashley that keeps him busy so he's not in this world title picture, then no, it's not too soon in that aspect. It sucks for Hurt Syndicate to have a small reign and to not really. I think this will be maybe their third defense, if not second, because their first defense was a fatal 4-way or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks, and they technically didn't grow. They don't look more. What's the word I'm looking? They don't look more formidable. Honestly, I'll be surprised if they ever win these titles again. To keep it a buck. I mean, no pun intended. But so yeah, that the first part is a yes and no. The second part, the second question, which was, what was that second question?
If you put the belts on the Hurt Syndicate, does that bring an automatic draw to the tag belts? Like, does it boost them up?
Yeah, so yes, I'm going to say yes to that in the sense, because to go off of what I just said, like, and we talked about it last week, like the Hurt Syndicate is easily the most, they look like stars compared to like everybody else. And that's even a Moxley. I would say besides Kenny, like the Hurt Syndicate look like stars. They carry themselves as stars due to their previous experience from other companies and whatnot. So putting the tag team titles on them, which AEW was a company that was very prominent on, like, we care about tag team wrestling, like this is our thing. It's kind of been dead in the water this last year and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since the Bucks took it from Darby and Sting, the tag team titles have kind of been, the tag team scene has kind of been dead or just
a little stagnant.
I'll say I'll say dead. I'll say dead in the sense that it's still currently giving WWE 2 weeks ago. In the sense where it's like Bucks came out in an interview saying we were having boring matches on purpose. Like, oh, cool, like that's great because fans want to hear that. Fans really want to hear that. And another thing came out where it was like, yeah, we had like 30 different people we wanted to lose it to. Well, that doesn't help anything. It's one of those things we shouldn't know. So yeah, I feel like putting it on your biggest stars, two of your biggest stars right now, or at least people that are presented as stars, putting it on them should give a nice rejuvenation to it. The problem is what is the payoff? Because similar to WWE, Bobby Lashley is not going to take too many L's. And
no.
Who do you build up to make it even believable that someone can beat a team of Shelton and Bobby? Because Shelton and Bobby are taller than like literally every single person almost. They're buff as shit, buffer than almost every single person. Obviously, Shelton's already taken a few random ass losses, but like they have to start building this team, like the tag team division, to make it seem credible to like who's going to beat these people, to make it
Brody?
It could be that, to make it believable. Because if it's not believable, like if it's going to be, I don't want to throw shade at these people, but if it's like a Leo Rush and Action Andretti, I'm like, I don't believe that.
Nobody's believing that.
I'm not believing that shit. So the real problem or that they need to figure out before they actually go through this is who's going to be the person to take it follow up. Similar to what they needed to do with Mox, which we didn't even talk about it. Darby's going to climb the mountain, folks. Apparently, he's climbing the mountain. We'll see if he lives. I'm not going to wish death on nobody. That's rude, and that's not how you get money on a podcast. And also, he's my Capricorn sibling, unfortunately. But I won't be surprised if he doesn't come back. I'll say that.
Nigga, relax. God damn.
It's a scary mountain.
Darby's
scary.
Climbing a very scary mountain. And the thing is, people who are not from the Northwest don't understand how like dangerous it is. Like, it's not a normal thing for people to do. Like, it's not like you just wake up like, I'm gonna go climb the mountain. This is why he's also going through like training. I think the reason why he's off is that he has to do training for the mountain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cardio
Darby is doing the mountain. I think we did talk about it I thought we talked about it with DT. I remember him talking about how like, we're supposed to build this around you.
Yeah, and we talk about it. Well,
yeah, so
pop back in my head.
Yeah, Darby's climbing the mountain. So I think I said in that same conversation that if that's the case, we just have to go and find somebody else. Like, I will pivot. I have to. But yeah, I think her syndicate would do really well by getting the tag team belts. I think them carrying it into LA would also be nice too. I think showcasing them in LA with the belts, I think that'd be really dope. For at least for Private Party's sake, it's like I like Private Party a lot, but they have to be utilized a lot more and make it look more of a threat. And maybe that could be the case. Maybe they get fucking her syndicate off of like a fluke or something like that. But I don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting. Like you said,
a fluke means a roll up. Would you hate those?
Yeah, and I hate roll up. I hate them with a fucking passion. Maybe they get them on a roll up. Maybe after Swerve finishes fucking Ricochet, maybe he like interferes and kind of like helps them get the win. I don't know.
So my question, and you don't have to answer this personally, but seeing this segment and seeing the segment before with Ricochet, is it only okay to emasculate black men if other black men are doing it?
Define that. What do you mean?
Because remember the whole MVP thing where he's like, they're Triple H or whoever is emasculating black men on this show. Mm-hmm. Ricochet's been looking like a simp, and Private Party the last 2-3 weeks have been getting punked out like ridiculously. Like they've been like Hurt Cynic has been punking the shit out of them. So is it only okay if it's black on black crime to make other black talent look this incredibly whatever? And maybe we can,
and I don't.
we can come back to this with DT too. It's just, and I'm not trying to start another another race dialogue per se. It's just that like when it comes to, I don't know. For me, it's like, is it only okay if black talent look like shit against other black talent, or is it only a problem when you have a moment where it's like when Triple H beat Booker T in 5 seconds?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Is more so like match length, right? To where like, the ones we're talking about is Booker T and Triple H. We're talking about Brock and Kofi and shit like that. We're like, it was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
I think the difference that I could see is, Ricochet may have this coming. He stabbed somebody with the fucking scissors. It's not like it was unwarranted, that I'm trying to beat your ass. You try to fucking kill me.
I mean, before that, but yes, you're correct. But before that, they were already making him look like a nerd, throwing toilet paper at him. And it's like, oh, you still bald.
He did get the toilet paper thrown at him.
Calling this nigga Trevor. Like, what up, Trevor? You're still Trevor to me. Like,
and maybe it could be in the sense of, maybe that could be in the sense of also building character. Maybe it's turning him to a heel. If you beat Kofi in 3 seconds, if Kofi came back as a heel afterwards, maybe that I'd have looked at it a little differently. Like, he kind of said fuck everybody and was going to like kill everybody. I don't know. But I think because it's in character work of like, we're turning Ricochet into a heel, we're trying to make him unlikable, the bald head guy, like all that extra shit. Like, maybe, I don't know. It's
one last thing, and then we can move on. It was about the Ricochet segment because I forgot it. There was a point in time where the commentators, which Tony Schiavone and Excalibur is the worst commentating team I've ever heard in my life, and I'm so sick of them. But I forgot who it was. I think it was Taz and Excalibur, or it was all three of them. But they were like, hopefully he doesn't start stabbing people in the crowd. Like he just might go stab crazy or something. It's like, that is not okay to say. I'm sorry, not to be like PC police or or anything. It was like, oh, he might just start stabbing people in the crowd. Like come on, you guys could have figured out anything else to say. That's
funny. That sounds like,
to me it was wild. I'm like, what are y'all like? I was like,
that's not, you got like you got a fan behind you just irritating you. You got to say some shit. You might stab somebody in the crowd. Just look at the fan like,
hopefully he doesn't start stabbing. What about, like, why are y'all talking about like, I know your demographic is 8 to 49, but like other people still watch this shit.
For sure.
Like, I don't know.
They try to make him look dangerous, I guess, because he does look crazy. But
absolutely. It's just that was just a weird thing to say from funny commentary, and it's something I wanted to say the other week too during Mariah's backstage segment with Harley Cameron, and I think it was a pre-tape, but like she mentions setting the women's division ablaze or on fire.
Ablaze or fire.
And it's like, it's, it comes off insensitive. While we're having all of LA or all of California burn up, it's just a little insensitive. I see. It's just one of those things, again, not.
And I don't think that was like in their I don't think that was like in their meaning. I don't think they meant to say that.
No, I think it was
account towards that.
I think it was a pre-tape, and I think it was a pre-tape, and it was like one of those things that were too late to change.
Let's set it ablaze. It's like, kind of. Hold on now.
We just need some PR people to look at some shit.
Speaking of PR, great transition into this, because this is probably like my least favorite segment of the show.
It's the worst part of the show if you're talking about MJF and Jeff Jarrett.
MJF and Jeff motherfucking Jarrett. Now let's get this. Okay. First half, I enjoyed it. First half, like first 10 to 15. First off, this shit went on way too long. It was like maybe 20 minutes of promo and just talking. And then like the last like 10, 15, he was just like, he was panicked. Not panicked, but he was just a little frenzy off of what MJF had said. It starts off great. It starts off like, MJF needs to be humble. MJF's saying that Double J is the last thing you see before a company dies. And like, I love those kind of shots.
He shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that line.
I love the shot.
It's a good shot, but you
don't want this place to get killed.
Dare you say foreshadow? Because you have a small crowd, like you're trying to get the sympathy of a Sting John Cena retirement, and like you say that shit in front of like 1,200 people, like that's not again, that's nothing. He shouldn't have said that. But
And
continue,
then
because there's something worse he shouldn't say.
no, for sure. And this is where shit went unhinged, right? Because the motherfucker is sitting here and he's like, he says, make sure that sexy MILF of a wife sticks around because I'm a big fan, because MJF is a big fan of Karen Jarrett or whatever. And when he's through with her, he'll ship her back to him so he can be the first man in history to know what a generational talent and an Olympic gold medalist balls taste like. And I was like, oh, this nigga's tripping.
Yeah.
I was like, this nigga is fucking tripping, yo.
And for those who
that's the line.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, in TNA, when Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle were in TNA, essentially Jeff Jarrett got like sloppy seconds or something, because Kurt Angle was with Karen, but then she cheated on him with Jarrett, or it was vice versa. It was something like that.
Vice versa. But Karen used to be Kurt's wife, and now she's Jeff Jarrett's wife.
Yeah.
Nigga,
it's an old
that's
joke,
where everything went haywire. I don't know if that was like, I don't know if the delivery was supposed to be like that, because like the way Jeff was looking at him like, oh, you just say this, that's what you're gonna say? And then everything goes haywire, because then we start seeing Jeff Jarrett talk about your wife's getting banged in the back while you're wrestling at Arthur Ashe or whatever. It was like, hey, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
like,
and then Jarrett goes. He goes for the same fucking low hanging fruit. Like, okay, I have so many problems with this whole fucking segment. But
it got bad.
He goes for that, and then he was like, he says something. He was like, well, yeah, your mom still made me pay for that, huh? So he's like, yeah. So he calls his mom a whore. He calls his girlfriend a ring rat. Essentially, he's like, oh, she's fucking everybody, in the back while you wrestling.
Right, you wrestle, like, nigga. We lost the plot, nigga. What is going on?
Right, and it's just, and then there's like random moments where MJF just starts screaming, "Hey, bud, don't ever interrupt me!" And I'm like, okay,
yeah, and then that's not even the worst part.
No.
I mean, that is the worst part. But then he not doubles down. He mentions he mentions that he mentions Owen.
Yeah.
He's like the blue blazer, and I don't know if it's a callback because MJF was also wearing a blue blazer that night. But it's like he mentions Owen, and he's like, these people aren't very bright, with all due respect. No wrestling fan has ever given a single solitary shit about Jarrett. But just because he was the best friends with Owen Hart, he thinks he's owed a grand finale. Like, you think you're owed something? And it was like, damn, like, what the fuck Owen got to do with this? But at the same time, I understand they got a partnership with Owen Hart, the Owen Hart Foundation, or whatever. Still low hanging fruit.
Very low hanging.
Still cheap heat, whatever. And then he mentions Owen Hart again, and that's what like they brawl or whatever. But overall, this segment, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It started off really solid and then got really into like some after school in the fucking parking lot, like insults and shit. And then they try to focus back on the wrestling. Yeah, never give them 20 minutes again. Well, never give them 20 minutes together again.
That's the thing. Like last week when we briefly talked about it, and Jarrett called him a one-hit wonder, and I was like, I agree. This is what I mean. And I mean, I spoke about this before on several occasions, but I'm at this point, I'm ready to give up, and I'm over MJF. Like I think the low-hanging fruit, the edgy, try hard Xbox talk it's tired. It's very it's tired because it's every feud. Every feud is like, all right, I'm gonna talk about your mom. Your mom was a crack whore. I heard you're not seeing your dentist anymore. All of it is like all these, and some of the barbs are good, but it's all just low hanging fruit. And it's like, dude, like I can hear Dom or Miz cut a very similar promo without doing all that bullshit, and it still gets garnered. Like, you can still get that much heat, and you can still get that much hatred. Like, everything Drew McIntyre did last year is very similar without all that extra unnecessary
all the
shit.
Personal jabs.
And it's like, it's cool. Like, some of them, sometimes it is cool. Sometimes it is like the oohs and ahs and shit. Like, like even with Seth and Punk, like they were shooting, but like at least it, like a lot of it was not only was it approved, but it was like you could say some really crazy, hurtful shit and drop some crazy bars without being like, well, yeah, your mom was a lot lizard, and your dad had a needle in him his whole life. Like, I don't understand. I'm over it. I seen him do better when he was in his face run. but even that still has like some tarnish to it based on how it ended and all this other the devil feud and all this other stuff. But I'm over MJF. Like I
see what you mean.
I truly believe he is a one trick pony in the sense of where it's like I'm just gonna say the most rudest, cringe-worthy shit. Again, it's Xbox language, man. It is so 2008 Call of Duty. Every single promo. And like
I'm gonna say this.
Jeff Jarrett even started doing it, and it's like, okay, and
it just doesn't work.
And it's like because you're not gonna beat Max at his own game. That's for sure.
No.
Like even though Jarrett's lines were fine, it's like you're not beating Max at his own game. And then I have a problem with the Owen line in the sense where it's like, okay, yes, they have a partnership with his wife, and they have the Owen Hart Cup, but one, he's never wrestled a day in his life in this company. Company didn't exist when he was present. Two, every single time, you got like they love to parade and brag about like, oh, we asked Karen permission to do this spot. We asked Karen permission to do this. Did you guys ask Karen permission for this line? Because I haven't seen a single tweet about and even then though, like, why do it? You can still even though this feud is no one asked for this feud. Let's keep it a buck. No one asked for this feud. No, but you can still get this feud without doing that shit. We just saw Hangman and Christopher Daniels have a death match in the first match, and they just started feuding 2 weeks ago, and they already had a death match.
And Hangman's promos were better without the edgelord shit. So like, I think a lot of MJF's character is that. I think his heel run is the edgelord shit. That's the shit that's supposed to make you dislike him. Is like him going over the edge and doing that. Do I think he could do it without it? Absolutely. But I think like the shock value, the oohs, the ahs, it's just part of his character. It's what made MJF likable in the first fucking place, was him shooting that shit off. I will say that like the line is not as far as you think. As of right now, in my opinion, is not as far as you think between Caster and MJF. Like the only reason why Caster can't get the shit off that MJF does is because MJF says the shit better.
Well, he actually has bass in his voice.
Like Caster and his like lines, you could swap them with MJF and MJF come out and say it, and like people fucking love the shit.
Well, and also Caster raps his shit too. Where it comes off more corny, whereas like Hunter Biden's laptop. Like, okay.
Overall, with the feud though, I don't have an issue with like older guys wrestling talent. No. Shit, we had KO versus Ray early this week. It's just executing. How can we do this the right way? If I talked about last week, to where if MJF is going to be this legend killer and take out Jeff Jarrett, he needs to do it the same way and as brutal as not as brutal, but he needs to do it just as easy as Hangman did Christopher Daniels. Like, I don't want to see MJF go 50-50 with Jeff Jarrett. Don't need that.
Hangman definitely went 50-50 with Christopher.
No. You ain't watched the match. It was not on 50-50. That man fucked him up.
Yeah,
it looked like 50. It was not 50-50.
I saw him get 2 moonsaults. That looked 50-50 to me.
And that nigga got 2 moonsaults, and then that nigga was out. It was no more.
I feel it.
Going into Christian Cage Hook, I'm not going to talk about the match. I just have no enthusiasm watching Hook anymore. I'm sorry. It's just out for me right now.
No,
which is crazy because the best part, Samoa Joe came back.
Yes,
Joe is fucking back. Him and Shibata came out, and this is exactly why I like watching Joe with Hook, was the Joe part. Get this shit back together. Like, you didn't get to finish it off properly the first time. Hopefully we can actually do what we need to do, and like maybe he does better promos or something like that with Hook. Samoa Joe's here. The anchor is back.
Yeah, that's the thing is though, because AEW loves running shit back. You remember who took Samoa Joe out, right?
Yeah, Jericho.
Okay, I don't want to see Hook and Jericho anymore. I don't even want to see.
I don't want to see Hook and I want to see Jericho and fucking Joe.
Me either.
Don't need to see that.
But that's also at the same time, logically, you would think you would get revenge on the person who hit you with
I gotta get my leg back,
right?
And threw me through a wall.
So it's like
fuck. So there's no win.
No, there's no win. There's not, man. So I'm kind of upset about that, bro.
There's no win, bro. It's like one of these niggas gonna fight Jericho, and Jericho gonna be on another show. God damn it, man! I can't do it. Let's see here. We get the AEW's.
Speaking of Jericho, because I don't know if I didn't take. I watched the show. I didn't take notes. At some point, I don't know. We might already passed it, but Jericho has a backstage segment, essentially trying to
New York Minute,
trying to explain the reason why him and Deathriders are teaming up for this 12-man tag match that we announced that broke literally as we were recording last week.
Yeah.
How do you have any thoughts on that?
I didn't even watch it.
Okay.
I saw it. I saw Jericho on the screen. I fast forward.
Yeah, as you should. It doesn't make any sense. They try to explain it, but it does not make any sense. Based on the history that him and Moxley have, it doesn't make any sense. Based on the confusing rhetoric that Moxley has been saying ever since this whole shit started, doesn't make any sense. So the news, when DT broke the news on the, I mean, you read it out loud, but when DT broke the news on this 12-man match, this tag match, the internet they hated it, and like even AEW sicko / diehards was like, what
the fuck,
what is this?
Yeah, rightfully so.
So them trying to explain it, I'm like, okay. So I was just
rightfully so.
Yeah. Jericho tried to explain it though, and
match was good. Match was good. It was enjoyable as fuck, but it didn't make any sense. Like, just because like match was good doesn't mean that it should have happened either. Like, let's just keep it a stack.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick.
No. From here we get the women's casino gauntlet match. Tony Storm ends up winning this one. This was also really stacked match too. A lot of good talent was in this.
Okay, real quick. Okay, it wasn't stacked. It wasn't
stacked.
It was 7 women.
Well, I mean,
the men's had 12. They have so many talent. Like, where's Hikaru Shida? Where's
True.
There's so many women that they could have put in here. You know?
Okay, it wasn't stacked like with number of women. The quality of women of the match was stacked. There was a lot of solid quality talent.
Because it's the only 7 women that Tony care about. Because you could have put Deonna in there. You could have put Serena Deeb in there. You could have put Queen Aminata in there. Thunder. You could have put a lot of people in there. And it would have been helpful if the MJF Jeff Jarrett shit was a little shorter, because then they could have added more.
Also true.
Also, the Kenny match should have been shorter, then thus adding more women to this match. So, I mean, the match is good. I'm not saying the match was good. I just wanted the word.
We could have added more talent.
The word stacked. Yeah, no, and yes, obviously adding more talent, because this is the first. Oh no, that was the Continental. But yeah, no, like, obviously the winner was going to be predictable. Like, we knew that it was going to be Tony. It's just like they could have added a couple more women, because they debuted someone. I would say semi-debut, because she was on Dark before, I guess. But like,
and apparently to SRS, she's been signed. Like, there's rumors that she was a free agent, but SRS confirmed that she's been signed to the company like prior to this
for a very long time. And so like, we're just seeing her, because I think the last time she was around was 2020 or 2021. So it's like, where the hell has she been? She comes out. The announcers damn near act like they don't know who she is for a hot second.
Does, though.
Yeah, Mariah does, but like, Taz is like, who? And then like, he was like, oh yeah, I kind of do remember it. Like, it was like, so it's like, so like, and I'm not trying to do apples and oranges, but like, when you compare quote unquote debut versus like what we got with Penta, or even with Jade or whatever, it was like the announcers sound like, she came out, she looked like an Egyptian goddess, like, her in-ring work looked good, like, and she herself looked good, but it's like they came out to damn near crickets, because like, there's no video pack. Like, it was just a random debut, a random ass debut. Right. And it was for like someone who didn't win, because obviously we knew who the winner was. So now I'm wondering, like, okay, what's this trajectory going to go? More than likely, or more, she's probably going to go to the Shadow Realm, but we'll see. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, why are you not? This is the whole women's division problem. Like, you have a debut, and like, the announcers themselves are very just neutral. I'm like, oh, it's Megan Maid. She was here during Dark. Yeah.
Do you think because they're able to work indies, it makes it harder to book around them per se? Let's say if we don't have anything for you, and like, okay, go book indies, right? And then we're like, okay, well, fuck. Now we need 7 women, but oh shit, we can't get Thunder. She's in Indianapolis today, and shit. Okay, let's try to get Deanna. Oh, Deanna got classes or whatever. Like, does make by having the freedom? I wonder if that makes it even more difficult to get people in, because if you're telling people to go work while they're not busy, they're gonna go fill their schedules up, and then they're booked out for other shit over here. So I don't know. That's just my speculatory thought about it.
Yeah, TK's the booker though, so if he wants 10 women, he can get the 10 women.
Get 10 women, yeah.
It's like
it should be that simple.
Y'all gonna be here on Wednesday. I need y'all here on Wednesday. That's kind of like
it should be that easy.
Like you could have had at the end. Like there's so like there's the women's.
No, there's a lot of women.
There's that. It's
there's a lot of women. Yeah, there's a lot of women.
Yeah, is her name Nia? The Beast, or Nyla? Like you could put Nyla, Serena, not Sky Blue. You could put Sky Blue in there. Oh no, she might be injured, but
she's injured.
Red Velvet.
But yeah, there's plenty of women that we could. Yeah, Yeah, you are making sense. I'm not knocking you at all. I do agree with the
Tony wins, and okay, real quick, Tony wins, which we knew she was going. I don't like who she pinned. Why did she get a roll up on Julia Hart? When it makes more sense to get the roll up on Cameron, who got sprayed in the face. Why, if you're gonna do a roll up, do the roll up on the person who just got misted in the fucking face.
I saw that too. Or maybe it was more so like, while she missed her. Maybe it could have been like, you missed her. I'm gonna take advantage of you while you were like out of it. Maybe because you thought you were gonna win. I could see it that way too.
Okay. So I'll label it a nitpick, but it was just like, you could just got the miss the person.
It's like, get the person who can't see. I do agree with the idea that, like, with Megan Bain, it's like, okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. You want to celebrate all your talent and whatnot. This is why when you say, or we can talk about Penta, that like when the presentation gets blown out the water, it's like, because y'all motherfuckers do this. It's not the fact that you can't do it. It's the fact that you haven't done it. Like, every single AEW like person who's gone to WWE gets this crazy fucking like debut.
Bro, like,
and the only difference that I can say is because effort and money. Now you have money. You also can put in the effort too. Right. I mean, there's no excuse now.
Because Bandito got 3 vignettes. You couldn't give us one.
That shit was tough.
And they were actually they were well done. You couldn't give us one vignette on this. I don't know nothing about this woman besides that.
Yeah,
what Mariah May said. And it's like,
right.
She's
from Stardom. I was running from her in Japan, that kind of shit. Shit, even Lexus King got like a spinning fucking chair when he went to NXT. He's like, we could do something. Getting out of that, we got the main event, which was Mox versus Hobbs. I liked the match. I thought the match was great. The only thing I did not like is Mox and doing Mox shit, which is ripping the fucking earring out the ear. It's like, I felt like it was highly unnecessary.
That was super unnecessary, because it's like,
this nigga's gonna do what he wants to do.
Because nigga, like, what? Why is Hobbs biting your ear? Why is we've
never seen Hobbs in his bag.
Yeah, and it's like, I've never seen Hobbs do anything like that. So why is Hobbs biting your ear, taking your earring out? What the fuck? That's that's some freaky ass shit.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna say it for the pod. That's some white shit, man. You ain't never seen a black man bite somebody's ear out in any kind of fight, no matter how mad he is. Biting it. Oh, never mind. Tyson shit.
Yeah,
I stand corrected. My bad. I take it back. There was a black man that definitely bit somebody's ear. To another black man. My fault. I apologize.
Hey, but he took a chunk off the ear though. Like this man, like Hobbs surgically damn near. He reversed the you've been to Claire's at the ball. Like, he just reversed that. All he did was take out the damn eraser that he has on the back of his ear, and then
and like this nigga Mox, man, I love Mox to death, but this man was like just leaking across the goddamn like ring and shit. And I'm like, all right, I get it, because he wants to be bloody in every fucking match. Man, I feel bad for Renee, because like every day you come home, this man has got another fucking hole somewhere.
Pause.
Pause. That sounds crazy.
The match was fine though. I don't like the ending. And it's going to come off really disrespectful, but it's based off of our conversation earlier about believability. Just where it's like, I see Moxley at his jiu-jitsu competitions. He gets choked out by sandwich artists and Home Depot employees all the time. And I'm supposed to believe he can choke out Hobbs. His neck is thicker than his whole arm. I'm supposed to believe that you could just put
I'm
him
on
in
the
a choke?
opposite end, which is crazy. I didn't think Hobbs should be pinned. I don't like the idea of him being 1, 2, 3 pinned. I didn't like that at all.
I don't like him tapping out either. Go to sleep.
He did go to sleep. He didn't tap.
Oh, I could have sworn he tapped. I don't like that either,
he went to
man.
sleep.
Because he took like a suplex. He took a suplex and then like Hobbs suplexes him off the top rope or something like that, and then Moxley just goes straight into an arm bar.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know.
It's an interesting take because Hobbs he came back. He's already looking mad strong. He still looked crazy strong this match. He kicked out of everything that Mox threw out of him.
Yeah.
I get it because you're in a situation because we don't really want to make him eat a pin while he has all this crazy momentum. We want to keep him looking fucking strong.
Didn't he take a pin at World's End though? Because he fought Konosuke. I don't know how he won that.
I gotta go back and look. I gotta go back and check that out. I can't remember off the top of my head. And maybe that could be the case too. Maybe you don't want him to eat 2 pins. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Yuta comes out, gives him a psycho knee, then runs back to the back. This sets up the suplex, the backbreaker, and then John puts the sleeper on him after the fucking paradigm shift, bulldog choke, and then Mox retains, and then we get FTR and Edge come out to try to make the save, which then sets up the 12-man that happens on Collision XYZ.
Right, which Hobbs has a comeback, but the show was cut off by that time.
Yeah,
so we didn't see it.
From what I understand, like when looking at or listening to what SRS has said or tweeted about, was that like it wasn't even a part of like he didn't attack anybody. He was more mad at like the refs that he was destroying the setup. It wasn't actually directed at the Deathriders. But yeah, SmackDown. Let's talk about it.
All right.
Let's jump into SmackDown real quick.
Wade and Joe have the cool walk-in one follow shot
cool.
entrance. That was cool. They were talking about the history of the building. Then we get a Rey Mysterio thing because they're in San Diego and also quote unquote transfer portal. So we see Rey talking, and that's when he announces he's going to join the Royal Rumble. KO comes out. He's wearing a great shirt, great callback. It's a callback from what Dusty's shirt was in his days, son of a plumber, and KO was wearing proud Canadian, son of an electrician or something like that,
a computer technician or something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they talk, and essentially KO gasses up Rey, and he's like, "Man, if you win the Rumble, you pick me, because I always wanted to fight you. Like it's been my dream." And then Rey's like, "You're not the champion, though." Which. Yeah, and then so that makes Kevin go berserk, and that sets up a match later. And I just forgot to go on a rant about Tony. I'm so fucking sick of this goddamn. Why does she have amnesia? We'll talk about it next week. After that, we have a moment where Bianca and Naomi talk, which Jade actually makes a tweet based off. I mean, assuming it's based off of this conversation, but like Naomi's like, yeah, no, there's no leads on whoever attacked her. All this, all right.
My question was like, why is Bianca asking Naomi about the leads on Jade when it should be the other way around?
Well, it's one of those things.
It should be
if you're both
Bianca be like, hey.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The way I took it is like, did you hear anything? Because I haven't heard anything. Like, do you have any leads? Because I don't have any leads. Granted, Bianca.
I was like, why am I asking you, the replacement partner? I should be the one getting the leads on what the hell happened to my partner.
Yeah. I can see that.
Allegedly. That's my only nitpick, but
I feel it.
Continue.
After that, we get a moment where Aldis asks Cody to sign the contract for their match. Cody's like, did KO sign it? No, well, I ain't going to sign it until KO signs it. Then that's when we get the women's tag match with Naomi and Bianca versus Nia and Candice, which was a pretty good tag match.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to say.
Definitely solid one.
Naomi gets the pin. So they retain the titles, and after they win, it says that they're going to go to NXT and fight Metaphor with Jakara and Lash Legend. So that's cool.
In ATL, yep.
Yeah.
Good week for Georgia wrestling.
Oh yeah, for real. Especially after their snowstorm stuff that they've been going through. We get a walk-in promo with Big Jim, Jimmy Uso's cutting a cool promo. He goes to the ring. After that, Mello comes out. He cuts a promo on the ramp. His promo was fire too. He called Jim Unk, and what else he say? I don't know. Mello.
Oh no, what did he say?
He was talking some shit. The whole
bro.
week.
He said what? He said Roman the Rumble. Jay got a title shot. How you gonna throw shots from the bench? And I was like, oh, this motherfucker is trying to eat, yo. Like, all right. Yep. Hey, Big Jim killing those allegations. Big Jim letting you know who really the wrestler.
I was about to ask because remember I asked that question a while ago.
Yeah, you definitely
he's the
Big Jim.
He's the better worker, man. When it comes to in ring, he is absolutely, as of right now, the better worker.
I was so mad they couldn't let this shit happen or be like a clean finish because it was 20, like maybe 15 to 20 minutes of them like just fucking going, and Jim is fucking going, yo. Super kicks, spears, like, dives, like he's in his bag. And also, great partner in Carmelo for making like all that shit work too. But yeah, man, Jim is looking pretty solid. Yeah, not much to say.
Big Jim is him. Yeah, so after that, what is it? Bloodline comes out and attacks, right?
Yeah, Jacob and Tama, which sets up like Solo coming out.
He comes out, doesn't say a word, and then just leaves. Nope. And then you can like see the facial expressions of Tama and Fatu, and then Fatu cuts a promo essentially like, I don't care if y'all cheer us or boo us, we're gonna get ours, essentially. So that's I feel like it fuels more of the speculation of what I was talking about earlier, where we might get that 3v3 for Mania, or depending on if Loa gets healed enough or whatever.
And then fucking Jacob on the mic, man. Jacob Fatu on the mic in general is just a joy because it's like it's from the heart, and it's also not from the heart from like his emotional core, but it's like it's him. It's there's no character. It's just him. I think he said something like, "You think I'm just crazy or unhinged?" Like, the crazy thing about it, the situation is just getting started. Like, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Like, if y'all thought I was crazy back then, like what I'm about to do coming up next is out of here. Yeah. Jacob Fatu's about to do some nut shit. Just get ready, people. It's gonna happen.
And then LA Knight comes out, starts attacking him, and then there's a point, Braun Strowman comes out.
Yep.
And Tama is the voice of reason, to where like even the announcer was like, if Tama's the voice of reason, we got some shit to really worry about.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of what you said, what Jacob said. And that sets up a match with we're gonna get Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman, and a lot of people were super excited about it. DT he spoiled it essentially. Not that like, I mean, I see spoilers all the time anyway, but like he seemed super excited, and a lot of other people seemed super excited. And I saw someone tweet was like, "That's how you know Fatu's a star because he got y'all excited for a Strowman match." And I was like, damn.
Hey, I wasn't trying. I didn't want to shit on this. I didn't want to shit on this moment. I wanted to let him have his happiness.
Yeah, I'm not going at the person. I just read a tweet. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, respectfully, if you had to do a foot race between Matt Hardy and Braun Strowman, Matt's winning.
Ooh, nope. Braun
ain't got no mobility, bro.
Braun has a longer stride.
He can't make those long strides. I'm just saying.
They both got that doo-doo walk, though.
Looked like it hurt.
One of them shit they pants.
Okay.
And it's
we get a quick match between Garza and Motor City Machine Guns.
Good match.
Motor City is just pinnacle tag team, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
tag team wrestlers.
They don't have bad matches to me.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, yeah, character-wise, there's still not much of a character. There's still just like white boys who can do cool shit. But like, no, I like their music. Their matches have been good. Bless you. Are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing. I'm like they just good. They remind me of like Maroon 5. You just good music, nigga. Like you just I enjoy it. It's like y'all not great characters. I don't really know y'all individually, but like I enjoy y'all process. Y'all got some good shit.
Like I don't seek you out, but if you on, I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, but damn. But no, for sure. But yeah, we were talking about it briefly earlier. But as far as the tag team scene on SmackDown goes, it's up. And Profits will. One of them or both of them are injured, which is why we haven't seen them in the last couple weeks. But once they come back, they'll be fire. And then if we're getting some, I mean, obviously it said the Wyatts are on SmackDown now. I'm assuming we'll get Judgment Day, but yeah, the tag team scene on SmackDown. Tag team scene on SmackDown is looking. It's looking good. It's looking real good.
Yeah, just don't have Judgment Day get the tag belts. I don't want that.
Yeah, no. And then next week we're gonna get Los Garza versus Pretty Deadly, so that should be heat because Los Garza's been doing good. But they have they did that one move, and I'm like, I've been watching Angel Garza wrestle for a while. I didn't know he was that strong. Granted, Motor City are tiny. But like, yeah, he had the move where like he had one of them in like the powerbomb position. The other one was, he was holding him in the chest, and then Humberto did like a leap from the fucking rope. And then, either way, it was like a 30-second thing, and Angel was holding both of them. And I'm like, oh, yeah. he looks like a heavyweight right now. I didn't know he was that strong, So yeah, I don't know, that was a cool thing. And yeah, the tag teams have been cooking. Like fucking seeing Pretty Deadly on my TV like 3 weeks in a row. Yes, boy.
Yeah, I just hope the storyline plays out for them in the positive. I understand what they're saying here. We're like, kind of like getting ahead of myself here because it happens later in the show. But, Ciampa's like, y'all got to be serious, and like, you guys are jokes and whatnot. I hope it pays off for Pretty Deadly because they are a solid tag team. Like. Yeah, absolute like stars when they get in the ring.
And this is where my notes stop, so you have to take over, sir.
Yeah. From here we get B-Fab versus Piper. It's great to see B-Fab. Like it was a short match, but it's great to see B-Fab get in-ring work. They had a great promo earlier where Chelsea refers to Piper as Secret Hervis. Secret
Hervis?
Yeah.
Hey, I love that.
So it was a dope promo there. Nothing crazy happened, but just looking forward to see more B-Fab. Post match though, we see Mia Yim runs in, she saves B-Fab from the attack, and then we get KO versus Ray, which was also a pretty solid match. Actually kind of longer match, and I know it's long because I'm watching with like double speed on too. It was still a pretty long match. KO gets the win off of a low blow and the pop-up powerbomb, which was pretty dope because you don't really get wins off of the pop-up powerbomb like that. Similar to like Sammy and his Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yeah, no, like it's like a signature move, no. And then after that, it looked like he was going to pedigree, or not pedigree, but power drive him. And then Cody comes out, and they have a brawl, which sets up for Saturday Night Main Event. It sets up a contract signing, and Shawn Michaels is going to be there to mediate it.
Yep. San Antonio.
Super random. I mean, yeah.
It is random.
It's still random as hell because obviously,
it's random.
Like he's running NXT. It's random as shit.
Yeah, like, and he has no stock in either one of y'all. But I get it. San Antonio, Shawn Michaels is pay-per-view. It makes the most sense. Or theme show, not a PLE. We had the Pretty Deadly segment with DIY backstage already. Apollo Crews gets punched out by Johnny Gargano too.
Stop snitching.
Still don't know why you here. You ain't got no partner. You in tag division business with no partner. Why are you here, buddy? Yeah. Charlotte gets a promo video. Yeah. The Charlotte Flair is on her way back. It was very luxurious, very rich. And it made me think. I don't know if it happened last year, but that standoff between Jordynne Grace and Charlotte gonna hit like crack. Gonna hit like crack, yo.
Yeah.
And then from here, we get Bayley versus Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Championship match. And this is me on my nerd shit, is that I'm starting to look at, like, the producers of the segments. And I've noticed any segment where TJ Wilson is doing, he's fucking killing.
Oh, yeah. And
he's fucking killing.
He does majority of the women's matches. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's a former wrestler. He got injured, so he had to become a producer. He's Natalia's husband, or Natty's husband.
Yeah.
And yeah, he produces a lot of the women matches that we see.
He did the 4-way last week. He did this match this week, and I'm noticing anything with his hands, bro. Like he's cooking. These are great fucking matches.
He's in a he is an amazing wrestling mind. Have you ever seen the clip? Because it resurfaces every like once a year. Because he used to be on Total Divas for a little bit.
He's watching. Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So for you guys who don't know, like he was watching a wrestling match that had Daniel Bryan in it at the time, and like his wife Natty comes out like pretty much wearing lingerie, like trying to get to work, and he's like, "I'm busy. I'm watching wrestling." He's like, I gotta watch this Daniel Bryan match. You don't understand. Like ball is life.
For sure. Ball is definitely life for TJ. That is a great analogy.
Yeah, it's a good
but yeah, he's smoking it. Yo, like this was a 20-minute match between Bayley and Bayley and Tiffany Stratton, and it was good. Like it's I feel bad, right? Because I was like, the way Bayley was dominating this match and orchestrating this match, you can definitely tell she was a more advanced, wrestler in the match.
She was calling the match.
Man, she should probably win this shit because she's fucking killing right now. But it was the storytelling that I picked up from it was that, like, hey, you a champion now? This is what's going to be coming after you. You better be ready, because if you can't get past me, you have no shot with everybody else is coming after you. Like Rumble's, coming up. You better get the fuck ready. Bayley did a phenomenal job putting Tiffany over. Tiffany wins with the prettiest moonsault. She actually, I think I wrote the sequence down. It's like moonsault into a powerbomb into an armbar, and then she hits the Alabama slam into the prettiest moonsault to get the win. But she was mad resilient in this match. Like Tiffany was kicking out of stuff.
She reversed the rose plant into the Alabama slam. Yeah.
So like she looks good.
Yeah, and she won clean.
She won clean as a whistle.
And Roxanne was there because Bayley had a moment or altercation with Roxanne on Tuesday.
NXT.
And we should expect her to be called up soon because she just dropped the title to Julia the other week. Another women's because you mentioned earlier how there's been multiple women champions the last 2 weeks. Julia was one of them as well. So her, Rhea, Tiffany. Chelsea Green, and then Lyra. Like we got a lot of new champions in the last 2-3
weeks. I'm still leaning into my idea that I would love Roxanne to win the fucking Rumble because we haven't seen an NXT talent do it. It's just going to be kind of hard now, especially with like Charlotte coming back and whatnot. Like, I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. I would love to see it just because it's something different, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I feel it. Yeah, Charlotte, possibly Becky, and on top of
because Charlotte Tiffany's money.
Yeah, and we can get that without Charlotte winning the Rumble because she won 2-3 years ago. But who knows? I don't know.
I truly don't have an actual realistic option for the women's Rumble. Like my fan is fucking Roxanne, but I don't know who's a legit.
As of right now, I think it's Io, and then we get Io Rhea, we get Charlotte and Tiffany, and we get Becky versus Lyra, and then this is all my fantasy booking, and then you get Bianca and Jade versus Naomi and Bayley, because you'll find out that Bayley and or Naomi is the one that attacked Jade. That is my fantasy booking of what the women's. So
there's no shot that Bianca attacked Jade.
I'm not saying there's not. I'm still of the opinion that it is not Bianca because I think Bianca is the closest you have to like a female John Cena, and that's on top of a Rhea and a Becky who are super mega stars also, and it's like, do you ever sure like Bianca
forever face
it's not, she doesn't have to forever be like, she can tween a little more and still have that edge to her, but I have a hard time believing that they'll turn her full heel because she is, to me, she's she's John Cena to me. Towards
and she's John Cena mainstream because Bianca in NXT was definitely heel. She did heel shit.
No, she did heel shit, but even then, it was still in today's age, it was still kind of tweenish. It was never
it's anti-hero.
Yeah, it was never beating somebody while they're in a damn stretcher. it was mostly like, girl, I'll beat your ass. Like anybody can say that nowadays.
True.
I just have a hard time imagining. Like, it's not that they can't do it. I just have a hard time seeing them turning her heel when, like, again, like to me, to me, she's the female John Cena. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing it.
It's gonna be tough. I would love to see, just because I love seeing character changes and whatnot. That doesn't mean they go well. Just because I want to see something happen doesn't mean it's the right move, you know. And if anybody knows if it's the right move or not, is the talent themselves. They know what's going to work and how to get the fans over and shit like that. But then again, we just seen New Day go full heel, and them motherfuckers is hot right now, bro. Yeah. So,
but they betrayed Big possibility. Like, they betrayed Big E with a legit, like. It's not. I'm not saying it's implausible, but it's like, to me, it's with the New Day thing though. It's like they did something that was unspeakable, damn near, pretty much, to where it's like Bianca attacking Jay. Like, you have to question, like, is the WWE audience like that attached to Jay to where if it was Bianca that we're gonna just turn full heel, or that we're gonna just start booing her? I don't think so. On top of the John Cena part, I don't think so. No.
And then based on like the booking of like everything and the writing, it wouldn't make any sense for her to be mad at Bayley being the heel and you turn to the heel 6 months later. Like,
yeah. And then also the part that I'm really having the most trouble with, and we can end the show, is that, and like, again, like, unless you're gonna say, like, unless she's on some Doctor Doom shit, it doesn't make any sense to attack your partner and cost yourself the chance of being the first ever U.S. Women's Champion, on top of also costing yourself a chance of losing your tag team title. Because all this didn't have to be like, okay, yeah, sure, you can free bird it, she can take her spot. All this could have been like, no, your partner's gone, you have to vacate. So, like, even if you're on some Doctor Doom shit, like, you would have to know that all this is going to let Naomi take that spot. And on top of that, you're giving away the chance to be the first ever on something. For what? Like, they would have to really make it make sense, and I don't think you can make that make sense.
Anyway, last one. Anyway, that Naomi could be the leader of like Metaphor and bring them up, and now you got a new group and they attack Jade, right? Like, is there a possibility that could be a play?
Dog, that would be fire as fuck. Like, you just blew my mind. That would be fire as fuck. Yes,
I think that'd be dope. I think it puts Naomi in a light to where she could be mainstream, like main star, and you elevate two young talent with you. I think
the leader of a faction, a black girl faction. Yeah. We haven't had that since Team Bad, which is, two of them were mixed. So I mean, essentially, it was
and slightly what happened to Mania, but they weren't truly a faction, like labeled as a faction with Bianca and Jade. But I think that'd be dope.
Oh man, and then maybe to make the three-way work, Bianca finally has to trust Bayley, which hasn't happened in 2 years. Oh man, hey,
cook it.
Hey, you just changed the recipe, and I'm liking it, bro. Like, I can see that shit, bro. I could see that shit, especially in the faction sense. That gives Jakara more time to, like, because she's way farther behind than Lash is as far as like in ring work. Yes, I love it. I love that.
Yeah, I think that would be fucking dope. Merch will go off to the roof too.
I think that'd be fire.
But yeah, we're gonna get at her, people. That's the show. You'll catch us next week, which will be the Saturday Night Main Event episode.
I believe so.
Hopefully DT's back. We'll see. If he's not, it'll just be us two. Rocking and rolling like we always do. But we want to thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. Everybody from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Blue Sky, Twitter. I was gonna say TikTok, but that's no more. That's not a thing.
We don't know yet. Everything's wrestling. We'll see.
Everything's kayfabe.
Donald Trump's gonna come out and he's like, we're gonna save it. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Too sweet.